spring in the seat of my Model T. Done stabbed me in the bum. Got caught jerking off while visiting my mom.
My goodness.
Family dog done bit me, gave me rabies and lockjaw. I'm up shit creek.
I'm up shit creek.
Without a paddle.
Without a paddle.
I lost the war. But I won the battle. My treasure's lost.
Where'd it go?
My money spent.
Someone took my money.
My baby's gone.
Yes, so
She up and went. I'm on a one-legged horse without a saddle. I'm up shit creek without a paddle. My lady's pregnant, but the baby isn't mine. And pictures of my dad's new girl look an awful lot like mine. Knives didn't shake and stink, my clothes are torn and old. Spent 6 hours in a bread line, but all I got was mo. I'm up shit creek.
I'm up shit creek.
Without a paddle.
Without a paddle.
I lost the war. But I won the battle. My treasure's lost.
Where'd it go?
My money spent.
Who the fuck took my money?
My baby's gone.
Yes, so
She up and went. I'm on a one-legged horse without a saddle. I'm up shit creek without a paddle. I'm on a one-legged horse without a saddle. I'm up shit creek without a paddle.
9-year-old Tokyo pimp
Brian Albert Jr.
is back with an all-new hotspot that answers the question.
Well?
This place
The Waterfall Bar and Grill.
has everything. Geeks, Sherpas, a Jamaican nurse wearing a shower cap,
Bukkake,
PB and jelly sandwiches,
sneezing,
energy forces,
a Russian man on a prepaid cell phone, guys with afros, and look over there in the corner. Is that Mick Jagger? An albino that looks like Susan Powder, germs.
Germs?
German Smurfs. Of course. And just when you think the fun is over, knock, knock, who's there? It's Black George Washington. And anyone can get in. There's no password. At the door, just do the Cosby face.
The Cosby face?
Yeah, If you want fun, then listen to this. Nightlife designer Tranny Griffith is back with an all-new club that answers the question.
This is funny, Ms. Reed?
And inside, it's just sick. Ice sculptures, winos, you'll see twinks, gypsies, puppets in disguise, a Teddy Ruxpin wearing mascara, human squatty potties. It's that thing of when you sit on the toilet. Giant 300-pound baby, and he spins records with his little ravioli hands. Based on the novel Push by Sapphire. If that's not enough for you, you can hit the dance floor with a human fanny pack. Inspired by true events. If you're well-to-do and you just gotta hunt humans. No. If you're looking to just get murdered. If you're drunk and doing cheap coke off your laundry card. If you're Irish or just white and violent, I know just the place for you. Built in the upside-down world, the Spy Curious Beach Party is the creation of
Ryan Albert Jr.
This place has everything. Charts, graphs, PowerPoint. A guy who still thinks Jamba Juice is good for you. You want culture and you want it now. I've got the place for you. This hate speech haven is a creation of
decorated dude.
located in
Back out front, but in front of Asian house.
As you walk in, you'll be handed a glass of champagne. Or is it piss? This place is gonna have everything. Ghosts, ghouls, goblins.
Little grab ass.
My son. A woman with nowhere to turn. A wise old turtle. And you'll have your own When Harry Met Sally moment when you share a special kiss with Gizblo, the coked up gremlin. They've got a special display of Jewish fireworks.
What are Jewish fireworks?
For the kids, there's a special workshop where you can build a bear, but not the kind you think.
It's like a bear hug or something.
So come by this weekend and check out a VIP section filled with turtlenecks.
Oh, sorry. Do you mean turtlenecks?
No. Turtlenecks, it's a thing when like fat guys have a beard, but only on their chin roll.
But Stefan, for people who want culture, like regular culture, like theater, where can they go?
For that, try blindfolded theater group Shakespeare in the Dark. This year, they're performing the Scottish play.
Macbeth?
No, Jackbeth.
Okay.
And don't worry about security because it's guarded by an army of hobo cops.
See, we all got what I call a life trap. There's gene deep certainty that things will be different. That you'll move to another city and meet the people that'll be the friends for the rest of your life. That you'll fall in love and be fulfilled. Looking fulfillment. And closure. Where the fuck those two fucking empty jars to hold this shitstorm. Like nothing's ever fulfilled. Until the very end. And closure. No, nothing is ever over. There's such a desperate sense of entitlement, isn't it?
I'm not a phone expert, so I don't know. I can't read.
Oh, God damn it. Marcus, no. Well, why don't you try? Marcus, help. What do we do? How do we get him out?
I thought, what better way to start the stream than with a little Stefan and then a lot of Marcus and Frederickson. How are you guys doing today? Good morning. Good morning. The Hugin sends his love. Hey, listen, I have some really good news. First of all, the bunnies are back and I made a bunny hut. Okay, let me explain. So we thought the bunnies left, but they were hiding behind Paula's planter. Breaking news. Grant Smith Ellis, the bunnies are behind the planter. And then I realized they have to go back there because it's hot and they don't have a lot of shade in the bunny nest. So I took a box, I turned it upside down, I cut an entry hole into it, and then in marker I wrote bunny hut. And then I took this old like bamboo curtain thing I had and I cut it out and I made like a bamboo tiki hut. So it looks like it blends in kind of. And I thought, oh, this is stupid. The bunnies are going to hate this. Like, they're going to look at it and go, oh, look at this shoddy craftsmanship. But instead, Paula sent me video, and I can try to upload it before the end of this, but I'll probably go live this evening. This is going to be kind of a short one. And when I do, I can show you the video. The bunnies ran around outside of the tiny bunny hut, and I think they entered it, and I think they're in it right now. And I'm so excited. I think they like it. I think they're going to live there for a little bit. They are getting a little feral, and they've decided to show themselves in the day and run around things. And it's very, very cute. They like to run around next to Paula. And they're just, I didn't make a tiny toilet. I didn't make a tiny toilet for my little bunny friends. No. They didn't get one. I didn't even think of that. I think they just shit in it. I think they just shit like wherever they are. They're just babies, so they just shit themselves. And I think nature said that's cool. So all they do all day is suck tits, run around, and take shits. And I'm pretty sure that's all babies do. So that's pretty cool. Oh, hello, Satan. Hello, Reggie. Hello, Mia. Hello, kind of, sort of. You know what? It's doing the thing again, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know why YouTube is like this. YouTube is self-diagnosed this week. Listen, something's going on. I don't no, yeah, they're partying inside the homemade tiki hut. They love it. And they're running around it and they're really digging it, I think. They did disappear for like an hour earlier. I don't know where they go. I don't know what they do, but it's Ensley and it's Kaiser and Janelle is their mom. What do you expect? You know what I mean? Also, we are going to do a continuation of our social media, the killers who are on the old internet and online and their social media digital trail. Because it seems you guys really like that. Got a couple of responses through email where you guys really enjoyed that and you learned a lot. So that's cool. So I'm gonna finish it because I only got halfway through. So I figured we can knock the rest out today. And some of it's pretty wild. Some of it's kind of creepy. I totally forgot about how creepy some of it is. And I'm like, oh geez. So of course I had to put Marcus and a little bit of Fredrickson up front. Also, what else? What else? I had something else I was gonna show you guys. Oh yeah. Um Grant Smith Ellis talked about minors all morning. He loves minors. Um, it's mainly like them digging in the rocks that I think he enjoys, but it's very funny seeing him play old videos about the history of PR as he runs a huge PR marketing campaign, trying to convince everyone that a juror is somehow Mossad or embedded in Egypt. It's a lot. Can we squirm to stay firm? Amy, you know what we can? Viva la 210. We absolutely can. Yeah, minors. He's really into minors. He just loves them, dude. It's like they dig, you know, and they get trapped sometimes. You got to be careful. They go in caves. And he just loves talking about them. I don't know what it's about. Yeah, minors. He fucking loves minors. It's crazy. Anyway, he's just super into it. Yeah, yeah. It went from awe to you. No, minors, dude. You know, miners. Yeah, yeah. No, not those. Oh, guys, get your head out of the fucking no. The guys who dig the rocks. That is so crazy. Yeah, he did a whole live today where he's like, and the miners, and he kept talking about miners, and you're like, if you're not watching the stream, you don't. It sounded really bad, but if you are watching it, he's talking about coal miners, but he never said like coal or anything. He just kept saying the miners. And I was like, dude, can you even hear yourself right now? Like for real, now he's Job. Now he's officially Job from Arrested Development. It's like just record yourself sometimes and listen. Oh, wait, you are recording yourself? Well, go back and watch because Jesus Christ, man. He was playing 1920s films about like old documentary pieces about the original ad guys and the Rockefellers and shit like that. And I'm like, man, maybe I'm slipping. Maybe that's what we need to watch. It's just so wild. Yeah, people say the darndest thing. They do the darndest things. They say the darndest things. I do the rock hound, not the minor thing, but that's black lung stuff. Yeah, no, they're just it's literally all it's just him ranting about history. I think that's what Grant's show is. I'm kind of getting addicted. Like it's so wild. Like I can't believe this guy exists. I can't believe the shit he talks about. He was showing the century of the self. Dude, he was showing like it was about the Rockefellers ruining America and how everyone hated them and they were the like most ripped on people for being rich via comics and stuff like that, like newspaper comics. And then he starts talking about how Mr. Rockefeller hired some people to like rebrand him, and that's the first marketing company. And you can tell where he's going. He's going to try to wrap it around to the Mossad, Egypt, Hitler, and eventually, you know, there's probably going to be a warlord thrown in there or two. He already talked about Bonesaw and Khashoggi and MBS. Of course, Islamic feminism again. And then he brought it back to Paula the juror and how she discovered Islamic shit after 9/11. And oh my God, that her dad is the Mossad. Like he's just fucking crazy. And you can tell You can tell where he's going because he's giving you the history of PR. He's talking Paula the juror and Karen Reed. So anytime Grant is setting up for a big reveal of, and that's how they did it. That's how they got it was a PR campaign, and they got the jury to believe this. And Karen is not, I mean, she's not innocent. She fucking did it. Like, this is where he's going. And you can see it 10 miles away, but it's like, bro, did you have to go that far back? Like, did you have to go that far back? No, I love quarries. I was just in one, kind of, sort of, in a way. Yeah, it's the Bermuda Triangle, dog. Yeah. He's so nuts, and I love it. I'm like, it's annoying, but it's kind of funny now because it's like, what is Grant going to teach us about today? Oh, Woodward and Bernstein. Oh, yeah, that's right. He went there. He got into Deep Throat. He talked Watergate. My favorite part. Can we talk about the best part? If you guys were there, look, if you weren't there, you don't know. But if you know, you know. If not, you had to be there. You could go there. You could leave the stream right now and go. Darling, I must insist. Go watch him talk about his phone call with his mother. Just watch that part. He calls himself a towel. He calls her mommy towel. He calls her mommy towel. He's like, mother towel, mommy towel, mama towel. It's like, what, dude? And then he fucking just opens up his heart and starts telling you how mommy towel does not like the towel thing, nor does she get it at all. And she's straight up like, Grant, you need to stop this. Like, he's like, she doesn't get it. She's trying to get me to go swim with orcas and get certified as an orca instructor. And he's like, I know everything about the orca. Like, he's just. And I'm like, surely he's making a funny pun about orca. No, he was dead ass serious. Wendy's trying to get Grant. Okay. This is according to Grant. Breaking news. According to Grant Smith Ellis, his mother is trying to lure him into a killer whale's nest. This woman's a lawyer. She knows how to get away with murder. Convince Grant, who is disabled, to go get certified as an instructor for a killer whale. For killer whale diving. Okay. Go send him deep into the ocean to dive with the killer whales. Because you're his mom and you love him and you're just looking out for his best interests. He's disabled. Throw him in the ocean with the whales that kill. Like, what the fuck? And I think he was serious. Like, he left to go take a call. He's like, my mother's trying to convince me to She's trying to convince him to get in the ocean with murder whales, with murder fish. Okay, get in the ocean with the murder fish. Get certified to swim with the biggest murder fish in the world. Okay. Because as a disabled man, that's what you must do, Grant. And then he's like, I'm a towel. And she's like, I don't understand this. Stop. Just stop it. Like, and he's just like, why would I go? Why would I need to get certified? It's, yeah, dude. They did. And then she's like, stop it with the towel bit. I don't like the towel bit. Yeah, she's gonna send him to space like Oprah did to Gail. Like 100%. He's her Gail. He is her Gail. It's so crazy. And he's on the phone with her and he's like telling us what they said. He's like, yeah, and then Wendy said this, but he's saying it in third person. He's like, and then Mama Towel said to Baby Towel. He calls himself Baby Towel. Dude, Murder Fish, dude. Murder Fist would be so funny. If Murder Fist knew about Grant, imagine the sketches they would have written. Orcas are terrifying, so go get in the ocean, right, Minnie? Like, what the fuck? It is so fucking crazy to me that kid exists, and he's an adult. And also, like, his brother raps. What is his name? LV Montana or some shit? LV Fantana. And then he's like, Mother Towel said to Baby Towel. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then all of a sudden it's Rockefellers, MBS, fucking Bonesaw, fucking the elites, the goddamn Egypt, fucking the uprising, the Jews, the fucking Mexicans. Paula, your dad. It's like, what, dude? How did we get here? And then Rockefellers and just all of it. It's just so much. You know what? He's an evil man and we have to protect him. We can't let Wendy win. If she wants him in the water with the orcas, we got to keep him out, guys. Because the only person who's worse than Grant is Wendy. She can never be happy. Don't let him in the water. I don't get it, Reggie. I think he's talking about a cum towel. I don't know. Like, it's so embarrassing. God, he's so weird. Yeah, I don't know. I know he's trying to rip off Tally from South Park. I do wonder if Matt and Trey would be offended by all of this. Probably not. They'd probably watch him and make an episode about him, honestly, because that is a gold mine of mental illness that you actually kind of don't feel bad, like picking on him, because it's like someone needs to. Otherwise, he's going to be like that forever. And then the cum towel will only get harder and stronger. You have to be careful, dude. See, now he's making me do it. Now I'm over here talking about it. Yeah. It's just crazy. That is what Jim, and dude, he said some weird shit about his mom. It was too much. Oh, what's up, AJ? She heard mental illness and she showed up. Hello. Listen, I can't recommend Grant Smith Ellis's live streams. Awaiting the P. Diddy verdict, he said. He's like, we're here live all day. P. Diddy verdict. I'm like, fuck, I gotta go do a live. I want to stay here and watch you. Like, it's sucking me in, you guys. He's a piece of shit, and I can't stop watching it. It's crazy. It's like Big Brother. It's like all these people are awful. Why do people watch this? But at the same time, he's yelling about the Vanderbilts. He's like, Mom, do you even know who Gordon Scott Liddy is? I'm like, what the fuck? Gordon Liddy. Do you even know who Gordon Liddy is? Do you even know about Watergate, Mom? Woodward Bernstein. He's just... It is. You can't look away, dude. It's like a car crash. It's insane. I just can't. Mother towel. And then I said to mother towel, and he's fucking eccentric while he's doing it. Yeah. And he's also yelling about how much he loves minors. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. You got gifted. I got wrenched once. I got modded, but you have no power because everyone's modded, and that was my idea. I'm still mad he took that. Anyway, let's watch some more sillies. I'm gonna go watch Grant. You guys stay here and watch this, and then we'll get to the good stuff. Okay, ready? Well, it's bad stuff, but like we gotta look at it because gotta learn from our past. Gotta know when to spot a weirdo, and I'll tell you what, I think I saw one today, and Jesus Christ. Okay. Jesus, Rita Lombardi, Jesus, Grant Smith Ellis Christ. Murder Face. It's hamburger time. I love Murder Face so much. Okay. We're going to watch some Marcus, and then we're going to get to it. It's good to see you kids. I missed you.
I'm not touching his booty.
Oh, come on. Why? You got use of your arms. Look at my dinky little arms. I can't do anything about it. Just
a little moist.
There's slime. Yeah. It's moist.
It's just his goopy goops or whatever.
Robert, you have to do it specifically.
Why do I have to do it specifically, Marcus? Please explain to me.
You're the only one, Robert.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but all right. Let's see. How do I use my arms? I can do this, click that. Here I go, Marcus. I'm coming to help you. This looks really wrong. Hopefully no one sees this. Wyatt, can you turn around?
Fine.
All right, I'm grabbing on. This is really awkward looking. I'm pulling.
Don't grab that part.
Why are you bouncing up and down? I don't know where to grab. I don't know what is what. Okay, I'm pulling. Ugh. Why would you go back in? Well, yeah, I mean,
it's milk in the fuel tank.
What the hell, Marcus? Hey, man. What are you doing at the gas station?
Robert, there's an issue.
Okay.
I accidentally fueled my Toyota Camry with a 1% low-fat milk.
So you put milk in like the gas canister?
It isn't working, Robert.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's milk in the fuel tank.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't you try? I personally would have tried fuel.
1% low-fat milk.
No, I heard you.
It's better than 3%.
Is there 3%? Oh,
It's
okay.
in the car.
Yeah, why don't we, maybe, I don't know. I think a really crazy thing that might work, Marcus. Where are you going? Marcus, what the hell are you doing in my house? Marcus?
Like a virtual
Robert.
streamers.
Hey, Marcus, welcome to my house. You've never came here before.
Out of the way. I'm going to obliterate your toilet.
Oh, okay. Come on in. Sorry, I think the door is bugged for you. Come on in. Why did you just punch that guy? Wait, Marcus, I don't think you should use that bathroom.
The Costco rotisserie chicken, Robert.
What, it's having a hell of an effect on you, huh? Okay.
It's cold.
Marcus is over. He's I think the rotisserie chicken's messed him up a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna need to call someone to fix that toilet. He's gonna destroy it.
Yeah, Marcus, listen. I hired a social media person. She wants to meet you. She says that we should.
I am now a legal citizen of the People's Republic of China.
Oh, okay.
I owe you my life.
Thanks, Marcus. Marcus, look, if corporate finds out that I'm allowing a wow, that was a sick roll, actually.
Tactical roll.
Oh, that was a sick roll. It was a really sick roll.
Didn't see that coming. Watch this.
Okay. Wow, that was very interesting. You're falling through the floor. Yeah, I don't even know how you're doing that. Yes, you are going to make it. We're going to make it out of here together. All right? I know we can. Oh. Whoa, sick roll. Marcus? I know what you're going to do. Please don't go in the fire. I don't want to have to pull you out of that again. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Okay, he's going in the fire. He's rolling around.
Robert, help.
Oh, hey, Marcus, what are you doing
Hello,
on the
Robert.
shores of Normandy? Hey, man, this place is really fucked up, dude. There's like a whole ass war going on over here. The fish people are fighting to defend these lands here. I don't think we should be here, Marcus.
I'm looking for my anal lump medication.
Anal lump medication? Brother, we're in the middle of a war zone. There's a zombie right there.
Where?
Literally right there in front of us. There's a zombie just eating that guy. Like, we could see it. Yeah, Marcus, that's a... I don't think that's going to work.
Bad boy.
He apologized.
My turn.
No, Marcus, don't eat that guy. Oh, God. How is that guy still alive?
Dude, I feel like this is a metaphor for Twitter. Like, hear me out, but this one is like a bit like the beaches of Normandy are Twitter. Have you ever thought of that? Like that, it's that guy. Get him, and then everyone gets him, and it's like I'm Marcus. I'm coming in. I'm like, let me bite him, and they're like, he's already dead. Fucking Marcus's belly, dude.
Marcus, what are you doing on the shores of Normandy? Hey, man, this place is really fucked up, dude. There's like a whole ass war going on over here. The fish people are fighting to defend these lands here. I don't think we should be here, Marcus.
I'm looking.
Yeah, you know what? You know what it is, Cruz. It is a bit of it's highbrow. I'll tell you that much. Getting here trying to figure out what's going on. Who are we biting? You know what I mean? Who we biting? Who did it? Who did the thing? And they're like, it's already over. And I'm like, I bit this one. And they're like, nah, we made up. And I'm like, fuck. I used to have good trains at the bottom of my old house. Coal and cars used to pass me by. Dude, that train was so sick. It looked like a real toot toot choo choo train. I'm kind of obsessed with train YouTube mainly. Like that's newer trains, but to see an old one, I slept in a train car once, not bragging, but it was very cool. And then I wanted to get in that one. And I'm like, well, I slept in one. I wonder if this one looks like it, but you can't get in. You can just stand by it. And then they put the stage right next to the window that looks out on the train. And then I'm like, well, like that's fucked up because now I want to look at that. You guys see the train? I made them all stand up and look at it. That was pretty fun. We could buy DePetro, but you gotta go and get a shot after because you don't know what's in him. You don't know what he'll give you. He might give you self-diagnosed something. You gotta be careful. You gotta be real careful. But yeah, it was a pretty fucking cool train. Anyway, we're Marcus.
For my anal lump medication.
Anal lump medication? Brother, we're in the middle of a war zone. There's a zombie right there.
Where?
Literally right there in front of us. There's a zombie just eating that guy. Like we could see it.
Oh yeah, speaking of Twitter and how it's real annoying, something occurred to me. I was like, man, you know that FBI agent, or she said she's retired now, and how annoying she is. I was like, I wonder if she's in WikiLeaks. And I looked her up, and she is. That's all. I just want to drop that out there. By her maiden name. Her first husband's actually. There's a little overlap there. I'm not going to get into it, but, you know, if you just happen, like, you could do that with anybody who is in intelligence or the military. You could just look them up in WikiLeaks and see what's there. It's just something I just thought I'd drop that while we're watching Normandy. It's just something that, you know, I'm not saying you should all go. I'm not saying you should do that at all, but it's there if you want to look.
Yeah, Marcus, that's I don't think that's going to work.
Bad boy.
He apologized.
My turn.
No, Marcus, don't eat that guy. Oh, God. How is that guy still alive?
My bad.
Okay. How should we get out of here? Marcus?
The Atlantic Ocean.
Okay, I'll follow your lead, Marcus. Should we really be walking? Like, I don't really think this is the time to aura farm. Holy shit, dude, we almost got shot.
I think you're overreacting.
Yeah, no, I'm totally overreacting right now. There's dead people all around us. Come on, Long John Silver, let's go. Oh, God, it's a tank in front of us, Marcus. It's a tank. Holy shit. Yes.
Have you had a nice weekend?
Is this really the right time to talk about this? It was a nice weekend, though.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. I tried a new country fried chicken place. It's pretty good.
Have you tried the Costco rotisserie chicken?
Yes, we've talked about this. It makes you sick, Marcus. I don't think you should be eating that stuff anymore. I personally like. What are you doing? I personally like the HEB barbecue style rotisserie chicken. I think that's the shore, Marcus. I think we made it to the shore. Yeah?
The fish.
The fish.
The fish.
It's time to free the fish, yeah? Okay. I'm going to have one final emotional speech.
You're a fish fucker.
I'm not a fish fucker.
Fish.
Okay. First of all, there's... What the hell was that? There's something in the garage. You almost hit it. Oh, Fredrickson. No, don't hit Fredrickson. That's my little cousin. You want to meet him? He's really... Hey, Fredrickson, don't you be throwing that stuff back. Marcus, don't get into a throwing fight with Fredrickson. Marcus? Fredrickson? Why are you hitting Wyatt? Frederick said, no, you're throwing shit at me. Look, that's my cousin. You guys haven't met each other. Isn't he cute? Isn't he?
Mean it.
I know. Here, I want you to meet Fredrickson, okay? That's my little cousin, Fredrickson. He's really sweet. Fredrickson, be nice.
This is also a pretty good metaphor for Twitter. Actually, now that I think about it, hold on. The board is the select board is having problems. The select board is having problems. I didn't mean it. I like it when Fredrickson pulls the piece out. Okay. Fish fucker's very funny. Fredrickson is the cutest dude. Fredrickson is so. I'm going back because I love it when he peeks behind the door after he throws shit.
What the hell was that? There's something in the garage. You almost hit it.
God, it's his belly.
Oh, Fredrickson. No, don't hit Fredrickson. That's my little cousin. You want to meet him? He's really. Hey, Fredrickson, don't you be throwing that stuff back.
Throw it.
Marcus, don't get into a throwing fight with Fredrickson. Marcus, Fredrickson, why are you hitting Wyatt? Fredrickson, no, you're throwing shit at me. Look, that's my cousin. You guys haven't met each other. Isn't he cute? Isn't he?
Mean it.
I know. Here, I want you to meet Fredrickson, okay? That's my little cousin, Fredrickson. He's really sweet.
Wendy, hello.
Fredrickson, be nice.
Hi, girl.
That's your godfather.
Stupid, rotund, round, little bitch. Stupid head, got no hair. All round and...
Okay, here's another thing. I'm thinking of telling common law husband if we ever do actually make it legal, I want him to say this to me. I want this to be our vows. I want him to look at me and say this.
Fredrickson, be nice.
Right.
That's your godfather.
Stupid, rotund, round, little bitch. Stupid head, got no hair. All round and stupid.
He's an alligator.
Tall looking.
And then
Fredrickson, put down the gun. All right, guys.
My bad.
All right. Well, why don't you guys hug it out?
Got no hair. All round and stupid.
He's an alligator.
Tall looking.
What?
Fredrickson, put down the gun.
What is
all
that
right,
said to me?
Guys.
My bad.
All right. Well, why don't you guys hug it out?
Then they hug Robert.
Well, no, not me and you. No, not me and you guys. You two with each other. Thanks, guys.
The Golden State Killer.
Okay. Now it's time to get on with the show. Ice cream isn't breakfast food. What's wrong with you? That's why your kid call you stupid head. Ice cream's a breakfast food if you like ice cream. I don't. I'd rather have like 4 hash browns. Oh, I'm so hungry. Okay, let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Hold on. Let me make sure that my shit is adjusted. Okay. Everybody hug it out. Everyone on X, hug it out. Or just grab a live grenade. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I did see, was it me today on Twitter when she said heed? I lost my shit. Heed. What the fuck is? Yeah, they're fucking everything up. I don't know what's wrong with YouTube, dude. Why is it pausing? Is it pausing? If smoothies are an okay breakfast food, then ice cream is too. I absolutely agree. 100%. I don't discriminate. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean someone else won't like it. If you want ice cream for breakfast, then do that. You want to hear everything? Oh my God, I'll tell you everything. Okay. So today we're going to continue our discussion, okay, about the old internet and perhaps, serial killers and murderers and true crime adjacent people, even actually a victim today, because we're going to be talking about how they used the old internet to either archive or get away with or discuss or to follow up with and kind of see what the public sees when it comes to their crimes, but also with the victims, how to reach out perhaps to their family to try to get saved using the old internet. And we're going to look at where those footprints still exist, because in almost all of these, you can actually go back and see it for yourself. it hasn't come down. Now, in some of them, like for example, if there's a shooting sometimes or like a really crazy crime that hits the news nowadays, it's strange because you go to the social media profiles, they're all taken down like right away, pretty much. And back in the day, they would stay up. And if they didn't stay up, then you could at least see them. Oop, let me adjust this again. Dang it. Okay, that's better. You could at least find them on the Wayback Machine. And it's kind of tough now because people can have things taken down and the Wayback Machine has changed a little bit. And a lot of data got dumped and some new shit got picked up. But it seems like there is more of a stronghold on the internet and censoring things, which can be good, especially when there's prosecution and stuff like that going on. The trial of the century we just saw, there was a lot of shit going on online with social media that I think played a direct part in the trial. Like for example, when Colin and Allie with Karen with her trial, when they altered their screenshots, like the second that shit went up online, a bunch of people saw that. They're like, the fives are different. Like, this is bullshit. And that's a big deal. They tampered with evidence. Like, they should be charged. But like, if we didn't have social media, there are a lot of things. I mean, who knows? Would microdots be on the defense team? I don't know. Would the trial even be big at all without social media? Like, it's kind of a big deal. So now it's more common. But old school internet digital trails are something that people just kind of gloss over, or it's not really talked about that often, or maybe people don't know that it exists. And I think it's very fascinating. So in the first part, we talked about, and yes, I agree, pizza is a perfect breakfast food, but cold pizza is such a good breakfast food. Okay, I am so hungry. I cannot think about food. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so and also hello turd, greetings turd. You and Ernie are grounded forever. I just decided that today because it was funny, but we're gonna stick with it. Okay, so don't do anything. Yeah, YouTube's being crazy. You know what's weird is when I was previewing Grant's stream and I was watching Melanie earlier, I was just popping in and out of streams, like what's going on. Yeah, I'm so obsessed, Julius. I'm so obsessed. They're just wild. I noticed everybody's name is just normal. So why is it doing that in here? Have I been shadow banned? What happened? They took 10 vials of your blood. What are they going to do with it? Probably art. That's going to be fun for you. Yeah, he refuses to mod me anymore either. I think he knows. I'm very fascinated with the whole situation he has going over there. It's like, if you don't have a wrench, no one will fucking talk to you. It is so hard to crack that egg now. I really messed up losing my mod wrench. All I did was say that we need to save the pentagram, but he was talking about, 9/11 again. It's like, damn, dude. Quit bringing it up all the time. I mean, we're supposed to remember it, but he brings it up constantly. Like, not everyone can do a 9/11. Like, stop blaming everyone for that. You know who it was. It wasn't Paula's dad. That's enough. Yeah, even if you're nice, they'll ignore you even harder. They're like, fuck this person. No, I'll never. I thought you were modded. What? Melissa? You fucking turd. Did you unmod yourself? God damn it. Is that your alt account? I don't even believe it's you. Turds 5150. Really? I'm not even going to trust it. I goddamn know. Yeah, Def Otter, dude. They are a menace. They won't let me in. Mahjong too, Tiff. Mahjong. Okay, anyway, we're gonna talk about the old internet today, and then I'm gonna pop out soon. This is gonna be a quickie because we're just finishing the part 1. But I don't know. I'll have to check because I'm using StreamYard. Maybe do I need to update? Is it something with StreamYard? What if it's with StreamYard? No, because Melanie uses StreamYard. What the fuck? It's YouTube, dude. I've done something to upset someone at YouTube. I don't know. Something's weird. Something's what you switch to a brand account. I don't know. I think Def Otter is a fan. That person saying you want to laugh. Go. Oh, well, they kicked me out and called me names. Or maybe they were just mad that we were having fun. Either way, What is an otter doing on the internet? That's all I have to say. You need to be building dams or whatever it is otters do. I honestly don't know what otters do, but they're very cute. They just flop around. Tons of people having issues. Okay, good. Well, as long as everyone else is fucked too. That's what I was thinking about that today. Like, I was thinking about a couple of things. Let me go on a little rant here. Let me go on a grant, okay? First of all, you reported me. Good, Melissa. Good. Yeah, and also Jules, Wendy is hell bent on killing that boy, and you can't tell me otherwise. She's like, get in the water with the killer whale, Grant. You know, he's so wild. Can't believe he says mommy towel. I almost lost my shit. I was like, this is very sexual. Like everything that he's talking about is very concerning and very sexual. So here are my thoughts. First of all, hold on. I need to scroll up and find it. I need crushing clams. Jesus Christ. So on the issue of what Reggie was saying, okay, tons of people having an issue with it. I do think that it's funny when someone's like, it's not just you, it's everybody else. Like I say that all the time. Like a bunch of people are having, right? Or like, hey, if it makes you feel better, my uncle's dead. I always think about that moment when someone tells you, hey, the good news is there's more tragedy. Like, hey, the good news is it's way worse than you thought. It's other people too. Like, it's so strange to me how naturally as humans, so many people just go, oh, well, good. Or like they feel reassured. And I was like, man, are we even listening to each other anymore? Like, I was just thinking about this today because that actually happened quite a bit in Grant's stream where it's like, hey, listen, my cousin also got a DWI. It's like everyone's like, oh, well, good. At least we know that. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, as a society, we often tell each other, like, hey, you know what? It could be worse. And then we tell someone something awful. And then they're like, oh, I feel better. Like, what the fuck is wrong with us? I don't know. It's very funny to me. I don't know why. And the other one is thoughts and prayers. I was thinking about this in the car too. When people say thoughts and prayers, I'm not sure why I get as infuriated as I do, but it's not because I am mad at religion at all. It's more like thoughts. Like I keep thinking about like, what are you thinking? Like what do you mean thought? Like thoughts could be anything. And I really do think thoughts are usually like, you fucking deserve it. Some shit like that. So like no more thoughts. Like I don't want to know that you're thinking about it. Like don't fucking think about this shit too long. Like don't you dare think about it. Because if you think too long, you fucking blame me for something. No more thoughts. I'm against them. Just prayers from now on. Don't, because if you think you're gonna ask questions and then I'm gonna have to answer them, and then you're gonna say you're sorry, like you did it, you didn't do it. It's fucking weird. Anyway, maybe it's because Grampt made me watch a bunch of marketing propaganda from the 1920s, but that's cool. Whatever, it's fine. We learned a lot today. Okay, so we're going to talk about these very online serial killers from back in the day, OG internet, online type of shit. Okay. Yeah, exactly. My head's a scary place. You don't want these. I think about all of your personalities that I've gotten to know, and it's like, don't tell me your thoughts on this. I love you guys, but like, it's gonna be real. I don't surround myself with yes men, that's for sure. It's gonna be a lot of like, bitch, that's fucked up. What the fuck is up with? Yeah, everything's fucking. I don't know. Yeah, thoughts and prayers with an O. It's cooler. Good. Yeah, I don't know. Are you in turn doing a deep fake prank on dad again? I don't appreciate it. Okay, now we're gonna get into the shit. Ready? All right, this is part 2. That's my little clap to let me know. This is where we edit it on the final video when I combine them. I'll do it again. This is like, what did she do on the couch with Satan? The guy did it. He's like, didn't that happen in the trial? Anyway. Okay, So when we're talking about very online old school serial killers and just weird like true crime adjacent stuff, one of the things that we briefly touched on, I said I'd show you later, is Joseph James D'Angelo. Okay. And he was the fella, if you guys don't know, he was the Golden State Killer, and Michelle McNamara wrote a whole ass book about him. And there was a whole thing called the pro boards that were a big deal. And Michelle McNamara didn't start those. She wrote a book and she got everybody enthused again. She was hype manning it. She went and she picked up all the records that the cold case detective would give her. And she's like, yo, let me take a look at these. Let me take a fresh look. I want to write a book. I want to go over this with a guy named Paul Holes eventually. Paul Holes got involved. Patton Oswalt got involved. She passed away, sadly. It was a whole thing. The book came out. They made a documentary. In all that time, she got people talking. She got tips coming in. Shit got tested. It reopened a lot of avenues. And in the end, Joseph James D'Angelo ended up getting caught. He was also the Visalia ransacker. He was the Golden State Killer, and he was the East Area rapist. And because of that, he had quite a few different monikers. And a lot of people believed, well, the East Area rapist might have been the same person as the Visalia ransacker, and the Visalia ransacker might have been the same as, well, some people didn't put all of them together, but eventually people figured out these are related, right? And that was fairly recent comparably, because these are old cases. These cases go back to, what is it, the late 60s until now. Comparably, if you really think about it, he's worse than Zodiac. He killed more people. He raped a ton more people than most serial rapists. He was a horrible guy. But here's the thing. He was an old guy who used to scream in his yard, like literally old man screams at clouds. If you guys don't know about Joseph James D'Angelo, he had a fucking weird backstory. He had a wife who was an attorney. He had kids. Sleuthy sweetheart Stormy, thank you for being a member for 1 month. He tortured people mentally. He would stack teacups on his victims. We're gonna see some of the stuff that he did in a second. But when he ended up getting caught, everybody's like, oh my God, he's, yeah, he was a dad. His kids are fully grown. Yeah, he was a husband. Like, these are all things that we kind of expected based on behavioral analysis and stuff like that and profiles. But really, and by that I mean behavioral analysts, I should say, did profiles on him. And a lot of people thought he was an ex-cop. That was a big thing. And he was the ex-cop who got busted. What was it? Shoplifting. He was trying to steal dog deterrent spray, which I didn't even know existed. It reminded me of Batman when he's like, get the bat shark repellent. I'm like, there's dog repellent spray. So anyways, he got busted when he was a cop. After he was a cop, he went on to work various jobs that just led people to think whoever did this is somebody that had a history. No, it was dog repellent, not traits. He was like literally using that, which is kind of, if you think about it, brilliant. If anyone had known that existed, I don't know that a lot of people did. I was shocked. I was like, I know there's bear repellent and stuff like that. I had no idea there was dog repellent. And if somebody's buying that with like a saw and a couple of other things, like I would report it. But yeah, the whole situation was wild. But what was even crazier is that this like old man, who wasn't he in his 70s or something? I don't know his exact age. Exactly who the fuck wants to repel dogs? Why would that exist? It's like cute little fluffy bunny repellent. Why would you have that? Hi, Mary Malarkey. Hello, hello. Yeah, he's just Joseph James D'Angelo was an evil man. And he had a lot of there were a lot of weird things about him. You're gonna see some of it. You're gonna see us call back to this one thing in a little bit, but he's missing a fingertip, and that was very interesting. On one of his hands, he's missing a fingertip, like on down to like the knuckle part. And it was very significant, but I was very fascinated to find out there's quite a few serial killers missing fingertips, and killers in general. And I don't know why that's weird to me. Like, I guess some of them did it to not get caught, but most of them were accidents. Like saw accidents and stuff like that, or things that happen in the military, or slamming your finger in a car door. And it just kind of tripped me out that, that was a thing. It's like just missing half your finger is like a very common thing with killers. And it's actually not really like a profiling trend. It's just some freak thing that happens to be. But anyway, that's important. And why is it important? You're going to see why. Because even though he was an old guy, and people who believed that the suspect who did all these crimes across multiple cities in the state of California, even though a lot of people were like, oh, this guy's probably dead, just like the Zodiac, it was wild to find out that they weren't. That he wasn't, that he was very much alive, and he had a pristine lawn, and he was the guy who would go out and yell on it and scream and was just kind of nuts. But he also had a wife and a family, but they'd been separated for like 20 years. There's just a lot going on there. And what was even wilder is to find out that he more than likely was responsible for a few posts on these things called the pro boards, which is where people went online for many, many years to discuss who the fuck is this guy? Like, not Joseph, but the killer. Who is the facility ransacker? Who is the serial rapist? Who is the Golden State Killer? GSK Earons. And that's what they called it, the Earons Pro Boards. And people would discuss this for years, just like there's still a Zodiac website and the who is a Zodiac killer and the whole, there's subreddits. Yeah, but this is like a website dedicated to this. And this is where people went to basically do a web sleuths, right? So with that said, there were a couple of users that people suspected he could be. And back then, when those boards started, sometimes, just like with the Long Island Escorts boards and the Big Doggy boards that Rex Heuermann used to frequent, sometimes, most of the time, the moderators of these boards can see things like your IP address and your activity. It was a lot more hands-on. In fact, if you go back and look at Rex's and the ones that he frequented, you can even see what type of computer they use, and it auto pops up the IP and it'll tell you the location, and it just does it frivolously, like randomly. And you can just scroll over and see like MacBook OS, blah, it tells you everything. And this is public, and it almost pops up like a banner ad. So it's wild because everybody, including mods, insisted for a few years that like one or two of these accounts definitely were him, and it was confirmed by them based on two things. One, the activity, two, the location and the private information that only the mods would have that kind of tell you who it is. But this was after he was caught. So after he was caught, when you see these 2, 3, and then it keeps building, you see multiple accounts that are open in this one, the exact operating system, the exact IP, like these are all of these went inactive on this date. It was a date, like, I want to say before he was caught, or maybe 2 days. So people started collecting that. Like, the pro boards kept going when he was identified because people were like, it was exactly like the Papa Rogers thing. Now, the big difference is this one was, I consider it 99%. Some of the mods have confirmed it, they said, and I've been trying to work on getting records FOIA to see if this is mentioned in any court documents. But apparently, according to some court documents, he was very online, but they don't really give specifics. What's interesting is a lot of the details that were given on these boards by the specific users that we're going to talk about. Hold on, let me adjust this. By the specific users we're going to talk about, say things about him that no one would have known until he was caught. And they said it a long time before. One of them talks about missing half of his finger, like the killer will have this, that, or the other. And he also talks about his finger. There's just a couple of different things that were spot on that nobody could know. And we're going to look at those. One of them is user called CBK, and that's probably the most popular one as far as like, oh, this is the fucking guy. And we're going to go back and we're going to look at some of CBK's posts. And I'm going to show you. Now, I'm sure most of you probably know about him, but if you don't, I'm going to play you some stuff about him, about Joseph James D'Angelo, so you can get a little more backstory. You can see pictures. If you don't know anything about this case at all, this is going to trip you out. And then we're going to go look at some of these accounts, okay? And they are on some old internet pro boards, and they are very fascinating, in my opinion. So here we go.
A rapist, the original Night Stalker.
His real name, Joseph D'Angelo. He's one of the most prolific serial killers and rapists in the country.
Do you feel any remorse for what you did to me? This is her. Look at her face.
He is a predator of people. That's what he enjoyed doing.
We're taking a closer look at the case.
The only time that you were able to see a glimpse of the true monster, Joseph D'Angelo, was in his cell in those moments.
I sat down with Sacramento County District Attorney Tin Ho, who shared with me new details about the investigation and the moments that changed him.
A haunting voice. It sticks with you. Joseph James D'Angelo's chilling threats were just one layer of torture. He began terrorizing Sacramento County in 1976, laying in wait while his victims slept.
He was able to escape very quickly from his crime scenes, and he would just disappear in the night, right? Almost as if he vanished, like a ghost, like a boogeyman.
Ambushing girls as young as 13 years old, blinding them with light, binding their hands, then raping them.
Sacramento was a quiet, sleepy town. People would leave their doors unlocked, their windows open. But when he started committing his crimes, everybody started locking their doors. People couldn't buy enough locks, guns. It gripped the community, the fear.
In the cover of darkness, he preyed on people in Carmichael, Citrus Heights, and Rancho Cordova, often targeting couples. While raping the women, he would psychologically torture their husbands, tying them up and placing dishes on their back, threatening them not to move.
He was very savvy. When he committed his crimes initially, his victims, his sexual assault victims, all lived. By the time he was committing his murders in Southern California, he was killing everyone, not leaving behind any victims.
D'Angelo left a trail of fear all throughout California.
He committed 13 known murders, over 50 rapes, and 120 burglaries up and down the state of California in 11 different counties.
Sacramento County District Attorney Tin Ho helped put D'Angelo in prison. Investigators with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office and the District Attorney's Office connected him to the crimes using DNA. The arrest came on April 24th, 2018. D'Angelo, a retired mechanic, was home in Citrus Heights when investigators arrived at his door. He was living in the shadows for decades in Sacramento County. District Attorney Ho remembers the night when detectives first interviewed D'Angelo.
When he was first interviewed and put in an interview room, if you go back and you look at the booking photo, there's red at the top of his head. He actually ran his head into the wall. And so we were worried that he was going to hurt himself.
That's when the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office placed D'Angelo inside a cell with cameras. Ho was tasked with watching the videos and noticed something unusual.
There's a video of him where he's walking into his cell with a cane in one hand, and he's hobbling, and he's moving very slowly as he walks into his cell. And then the moment the door closes, he puts the cane down, and he starts just walking just fine.
So you felt like you were witnessing firsthand another mask that he was just wearing?
Absolutely. He was always trying to manipulate us, the public.
God damn it, I was muted. I was muted. I had to go to the bathroom. I apologize. I don't know if they touched on this. Yes, I was muted. I did a grant. He does it a lot. He does it a lot. Or he mutes himself. Hold on. God dang it. I do have a board, but I have to set it up. I apologize. Yeah, he does that stuff where he mutes himself a lot. And now I was just thinking like, fuck. Now I'm going to do it just to be like him. Yeah, I need to get a muted sign for sure. I should just, I'm gonna have to assign someone a duty to tell me when I'm muty. Okay, so Tiff is absolutely right. He used to do that shit. I personally think the scariest thing that he did that for me that really freaked me out. I mean, that's pretty heinous. The other one is he used to take the men and he would do what, if you ever saw Clockwork Orange, one of the opening scenes when Singing in the Rain is playing, he would do that. He would take advantage of or assault, if you will, or even kill sometimes, or attempt to kill the female while the male was tied up watching. And he would stack plates and teacups on the dude. Now, at first, the game started where he called it a game. He would stack it on them and he would tell them to be still and just tie them up. And then he'd leave. And he would say that he would do that because if they moved, he would hear them, you know, he'd hear the jingle of the china, and then he would come back and kill them or do other things to them. And it started out like that. And then, God dang it. Apologies. Let me get this going. Oh, they're better. And then eventually that kind of became something that he just abandoned altogether, the truth. Like, you know, the whole I'm gonna make sure that I don't hurt you or don't kill. He would just do shit like that anyway. He would just do it anyway. He would lie to them. But it was crazy because the men, you know, if they had to watch, they would have that on them. They would have stacks of little teacups and stuff. And he'd just straight up be like, if I hear you move, then I'll kill her. So he'd just have to lay there and watch. He didn't care if there was a kid in the room with them. Like, he was disgusting. He would also put on their TVs, and then sometimes he would cover it with a towel. He would eat their food and walk around their house. He was a fucking creep. He didn't care if it was a cop's kid. In fact, he almost kind of relished in those moments. And he didn't really, you know, they make it sound like he discriminated and specifically wanted kids, but he didn't really give a fuck. When you look at all three of the different profiles or entities that he ended up being, because remember, he was Vasily Ransacker, East Area Rapist, and Golden State Killer. And each one encompassed, like, while they were similar and there was DNA matching, kind of different signatures at times, or kind of like most of them, there was a common theme that one could say, yes, it was, this is his thing. But there were other things that were slightly different. Some say evolved. I would say devolved, because I feel like he became, you know, a more disgusting, disturbing version of his original self, which was still disgusting and disturbing. And he was weird. He was like the weepy voice killer. He had a lot of like shame, but also was very brazen. And he cried like a little bitch. And he cried for his ex, Bonnie. And he threatened her with a gun when she was a teenager. She had to hide from him with her dad because she didn't want to marry him because he went crazy. He never let that shit go. He would also hide for hours in the victim's house to make them really relax. Yeah. And that reminds me of dude up in Alaska. I mean, up in Canada. Russell Williams. He also creeped around in the home. Yes, the algorithm's been weird, Mandy. Everything on YouTube seems to have changed. His childhood was weird. We'll actually have to do a whole episode on that. It's pretty crazy. His sister, brother, military dude, weird family, weird stories. He was a kid, just a lot. Here, I'm gonna play this, and then we're gonna get to some of the stuff that he allegedly wrote in these pro boards. Here we go.
His family, everybody.
When the prosecution began laying out their case, collecting evidence from 11 different counties, Ho tracked every piece of evidence.
I was tasked with coordinating the discovery from all the different counties, making sure that we had them, that they were documented, that they were cataloged, that they were organized, and then sending them over to the defense.
Former Sacramento County District Attorney Anne Marie Schubert alleged special circumstances making D'Angelo eligible for the death penalty. But the prosecution ended up making a deal: life in prison.
I disagreed with that decision originally because...
Why did you disagree?
Because if anybody deserved the death penalty, it was him. 13 murders, 50 rapes, 120 burglaries. If anybody deserved it, it was him.
But one of D'Angelo's victims ultimately changed his mind.
Phyllis was the very first known sexual assault victim in Sacramento. I would see Phyllis come to court every single time. And Phyllis would sit right there in the front row. And I always come up, I said, Phyllis, how you doing today? And we would chat, we would talk. I would tell her what was going to happen that day.
In June of 2020, the Sacramento State Ballroom became the courtroom, a building big enough for all of his victims to watch the man who had haunted their lives for decades plead guilty.
Just to be clear, when there needs to be a fucking ballroom, when you have to rent out a Marriott, when you have to get a fucking community center, when you have to find a high school auditorium, if you ever hear that in relation to a place where all of a person's victims can comfortably sit, that is a whole different visual of, oh my God. Like, a normal courtroom couldn't fit all the victims. Like, this is literally next level. I'm very intrigued to hear what this specific victim wanted him to get as far as sentencing. I'd imagine for someone like him, staying locked up in a cage forever is a much worse punishment than death. And it's kind of a good argument, I think, against the death penalty. Yeah, it costs money, but shit, I'd pay money to watch him run. That's what a piece of shit this guy is. That's a lot of people in that room.
To 13 murders, 13 counts of kidnapping. Phyllis wasn't there. She was in the hospital fighting cancer. But on sentencing day, she made it to the hearing. It's a moment that Ho keeps close.
I look across, and who do I see? Phyllis. And Phyllis had this beautiful smile on her face. For the first time in 40 years, Phyllis was able to get a sense of closure and justice. About 3 months after that, she died from cancer. If we would have proceeded on this case, seeking the death penalty, Phyllis and all those other victims would not have obtained justice.
When he was sentenced, what was that feeling like for you?
Relief. There's never joy. There's only relief. Relief that he was brought to justice. People ask me from time to time, why do you think he stopped? And my response to that is, what makes you think he did stop?
D'Angelo is now serving 26 life sentences without the possibility of parole at an undisclosed prison in California.
He is in a secure facility, in a secure unit. I get updates on him regularly.
Has anything happened?
Not yet.
How's his health?
His health so far is fine.
Can you share what his typical day looks like?
You know, in terms of his typical day, anything else in prison, he wakes up, he does have a job in prison.
What does he do?
Well, I think I'm going to not talk about what he does, but he does have a job in prison. He is in a cell. He obviously is.
They better make his bitch ass do the dishes, dude. How ironic would that be? He spent his life stacking dishes on victims, and now he has to clean dishes for other suspects in a prison. He's probably victimized in the prison because he's old. Damn, that's weird to think about.
Is in a protected unit because of his status.
3 years after the sentencing, Tien Ho says that he still thinks about the case, about the victims, and knows Joseph D'Angelo is where he belongs.
I mean, the human being is capable of such great beauty.
Hi, Tish.
But the human animal is capable of such great depravity.
It's weird because YouTube's doing this weird thing where everybody's stuff is switched, but I see you, girl.
And you get to see that and see a glimpse of it. And does it have an effect on you? Absolutely. From time to time, I think about the case, but what I do now in order to deal with all that is I think about the people and not the crime. And it gives me hope when I think about bringing justice for those people. So that's what I hang on to.
Also, where is it? Fuzzy Lou. Edmund Kemper. He's the one who did it. He also had weird mommy issues. He killed his grandparents when he was young, and then he pretty much got a stint in juvie and got out. And they like didn't even, he basically got away with it. And then he went back to live with his mom and his sisters, who he hated, because supposedly they locked him in the basement and tortured him. And then his mom was a university professor, so Edmund was the one he would go around and pick up university students and then kill them. And then he killed his mom. He's a big old dude. He's huge. He's Rex Huerman big, like really fucking tall. He's also the one who keeps telling them he doesn't, like, he tells them at the parole hearings, do not let me out. I am a danger and I will kill again. And he's very, he's wicked, supposedly smart, but I think he's kind of a dumbass. Obsessed with being a cop. Obsessed with it. Yeah, he killed the students that his mom spent the most time with out of jealousy. He also, yeah, that is true, AJ. That is true, what AJ said. And then he made sex with her head. He raped her head. He did that. And he said some disturbing things. Yeah, he's the co-ed killer. He's a very nasty, nasty asshole. Yeah, he was in Mindhunter. He was that big ass dude. Yeah, actually, quite a few comics. A lot of them. I don't think he's related to Grant, but I see where you're going with that. Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah. He was definitely self-muting for a bit, says Mary. I don't blame you, dude. This is heavy shit. Yeah, he was. He was one of those, like, you want to hear a riddle? You know, what do you think about yourself in this world? Do you think you're a good person, Holden? Because you're not a good person. You're just another fleck in the dust of humanity. Yeah, he's like 6'8". I thought he was 7'2". He looks like the size of the Big Show, but maybe 6'8". So it's going to continue. You're going to hear from the male victim next. And oh, don't worry, he's coming up next. I'm going to show you guys some Israel Key stuff, and I'll show you a resource that you can use OSINT-wise when you're out snooping. Check this out. I thought that this guy was pretty important to, and I am going to put the playback speed a little high because some of these are kind of slower. Israel Keys, there's some pretty good OSINT out there that I don't know that a lot of people know is out there, so I'm going to share it with you. And also, I'm going to show you his responses in the newspapers to victims that he had actually, one of them is a victim that he had killed. And then somebody else took the blame. And they said they didn't do it, but the world put the blame on them. And he commented on that. So it's very, very fascinating.
And I wake up to this guy standing in my room, and he's got a revolver in his hand. I don't remember exactly the complete specifics of words that were said. Something was said to the effect, "Don't move or I'll kill you." Like everybody else, I graduated from high school. I'm 18 years old. I'm still living at my parents' house, but I spend a lot of time over at my girlfriend's house. I got a job and I had a regular income coming in, and I thought it was just time, that I got my own place. So now it's 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning on October 1st. For the first and only time that I could ever remember being with this girl, I went to bed before she did. And I wake up to this guy standing in my room. So the first thing I do is I look at this guy, and so I want to notice, see who is this fuck in my house and shit, And the first thing I see is he's standing there and he's holding a flashlight like this, and he's got a revolver in his hand. Now, I don't remember exactly the complete specifics of words that were said. Something was said to the effect, "Don't move or I'll kill you." Then he tells me to roll over and get face down. He had some like shoelaces in his pocket, and he instructed her to tie my hands. So then what he does is he tells my girlfriend to get up and go in the kitchen and to get some cups and saucers. I think there were 2 sets of cups and saucers put on the small of my back. He takes her off into the living room. Probably 10 minutes goes by, And he comes back in my room again. He puts the gun up to my head, and I believe he pulled the fucking hammer back, and I can hear the nice tightness of the fucking cylinder. So now he's been back. He's made 2 trips into my room. And whatever else he's doing in the other part of the house, he's raping her. I hear some whimpering. I'm fucking 21 years old. That's my fucking girlfriend out there. This whole thing has been going on for 25 or 30 minutes, okay? I got a couple of friends. So they come over to my house, and they pull up in the driveway and start beating on the door and ringing the doorbell and calling my name. And he's in the living room with her. What happened was they drove him off. He doesn't say anything. I don't know what he's doing. He flees. This is why I'm telling you that he was only there for 30 minutes. He got interrupted. My friends leave. So things are really quiet for like maybe 5 minutes. I don't hear nothing. So then I call out, is he gone? And she says, I think so. So I'm up and I'm out of those bindings. And I reach underneath the mattress of my bed because he never knew that I was sleeping on a loaded handgun. And now I got a weapon. I look in the garage, nobody's in the garage. I look in the living room, he's not in the living room. And I look over and there's my girlfriend bound up on the floor. So I got to look at her and I got to see this look in her face. Fucking brutal, man. Brutal. But I can't let her up yet because I don't know where this guy is. I'm not satisfied that this guy's not around. So I open the front door and I go out into the front part of the duplex and shit. And I look around on the street, stone fucking quiet. And at the top of my lungs, as loud as I could yell, and that's pretty loud, I dropped the fucking F-bomb, hoping that he's going to hear me running off in the distance. And then I discharged my weapon. And I'm hoping to this day, whenever I talk to him, if I ever get the opportunity to talk to him, I've often wondered if he heard that. So now I come back in the house and I untie her. And I'm telling her, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry.
That's pretty wild, huh? Okay.
Many people have asked and wondered.
So this, you guys already saw him kind of active in his jail cell, but I wanted to just show you a snippet from this press conference because he does the whole, I can't breathe, I can barely talk, and acts like a little crippled old man, and he's in his wheelchair and blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, I'm so hurt. And then he's doing this in the jail. And I found it fascinating because this is a guy who gets wheeled in, acting like he can't breathe, just whimpering. Just, I'm struggling. When you hear from the neighbors who said he would just stand out in his lawn and be like, fuck, and he would just scream and yell and go nuts. Kids at the bus stop go on a Reddit to this day. They're like, man, I used to wait at the bus stop when I was a teen a couple of years ago, and this dude was my neighbor, and he would just scream shit in his yard. Like, he's just crazy. And it's fascinating because, you know, he would act like he couldn't move around, he couldn't do shit, and then they come up and they give a fucking press conference, and they're like, check this out. And I thought that was pretty cool.
This is June 1st, just a couple weeks before he pled. He's not a feeble old man, as he portrayed himself to be on June 29.
Now, I am going to pose a totally radical theory, and I'm curious what you guys think of this. Okay. I've only posed this to 2 of my friends who are really into crime stuff, and one of them works in forensics, and I brought this up to her. She works in blood stuff, though. She used to be a phlebotomist. But anyway, I brought this case up to both of them, and my theory on one particular thing about him, and I don't know if you guys notice, but I noticed it right away in these jail videos, and I noticed it when they arrested him and they showed footage, but I was like, maybe it's the angle of the camera. Maybe there's something weird here that doesn't make sense. Like, something look at his body. And I'm not trying to shame. Fuck him. I don't even care. I'll body shame his ass. But like, look at something unique on his body, not the finger. It's just something about him that trips me out. That made me go, this is interesting because I believe, wasn't he in Vietnam? So just tell me if you notice it, because it made me wonder something about him. And it's not a conspiracy. I don't want to say, like, I'm not going to say. And also, look how they put a square over the toilet so you can't see his Duke. That's wild. They censored that. So yeah, I'm gonna play it again and take a look at him and tell me if you see something weird about him. He did
as he portrayed himself
He did have cauliflower ear, by the way. He had cauliflower fucking face, dude. He looked like shit.
to be on June 29.
No, not MK Ultra. He's got it. He's got that MK Ultra bod. Is that what you're saying? No. Look at his arms. Do you see how long they are? So I have a couple friends who, my friend Danielle had Marfans, and that's when your arms are longer than, like, usually you can do your wingspan, and that's how tall you are. Like, I don't know if you know that fascinating fact. If you measure fingertip to fingertip, unless they're cut off, and you just stretch your arms out flat, that should be your height. So if you want to measure your height sideways, measure fingertip to fingertip. And if you're taller, then like, if your arm width is an inch or more longer on each side, pretty much, if they're longer than you actually are tall, then that's a sign of Marfan's. And it's like a joint bone growth disorder or something. And yeah, you just kind of have really long arms. And the other thing is, in Vietnam, they used to stretch people like they did John McCain. And then the dudes would come back with Marcus arms. And I don't know. I know he was in Vietnam, but I was always wondering, like, and that was POWs, but I never saw him on any POW list or anything. But I'm like, did this dude get stretched? Or, like, does he have a joint disorder? Like, what's going on here? His arms are so long. I'm not shaming him for it. I'm just like, but fuck him for real. But, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with having Marfans or being stretched as a POW in war in Vietnam. Here I am sounding like Grant now. In all seriousness, like, his arms are really fucking long. Yeah, I feel like I have T-Rex arms. But yeah, it's fascinating. Long fingers and long arms fucks with heart issues and lung issues. Yeah, exactly. And that's why Danielle had to have heart surgery and stuff, like, because she had a bunch of issues, and, like, she's super tall, but also her limbs were very long. Like, you also have long legs too sometimes. I just wonder what's going on there. Like, I wonder, was he like a POW? What's going on here? Did he get stretched? Like, this dude's got really long arms. It trips me out. Anyway, old Marcus Arms Joseph over here.
The next video I'm going to show you is from June 17th, just 12 days before. And before I play this, I ask you to watch it closely. Watch it for what he does, flexibility, watch his dexterity, watch his mental drive. Think back on the crimes that he committed. Think back about what he did to escape. Think back what he did to shadow the light.
So what's interesting and odd about him is he used to put towels and shit over the TV to dim the light, but he'd still have it on. And he's keeping his light on, which I don't even know. I don't know that he can control it, but it is odd that he would take his time and go cover all the shit up. Like, he's very controlling over the light. He supposedly hated lights and was super about this. He didn't want any brightness coming in, even in his house. It was very dim and dark, is what people said. Yeah, he's but pretty much he loves the dark. He's the opposite. He's afraid of the light. He's a fucking vampire, dude.
Mr. Totten reminded us a few minutes ago of how Mr. D'Angelo attempted to hide the light so he could remain in darkness during the commission of his crimes. And when we watched this, we were struck by what happened 45 years later. And we hearkened back to those crimes of what he did to hide the light and to remain in the darkness. These are photographs from some of the crime scenes where he put blankets over televisions or lights. And so when you look back in time 4 decades and you now stand in the presence of 2020, you can see that Joseph D'Angelo is no different today than he was 45 years ago. And lastly, just a couple weeks ago, as you see on the top there, again, he's moved to a new cell, I believe, and he's got light once again covered with papers. And this last one is to simply demonstrate to you his mental acuity, his dexterity, his ability to deceive or attempt to deceive the entire world into believing he is a feeble old man. These are just snippets into the window of the mind of a sociopath. He is quite simply the definition of one. He has and always will be a sociopath in action.
Okay. So now we're going to take a look at the Pro Boards account that everybody thought was him. And that to this day I maintain is, I'm 99% sure. It's been confirmed supposedly by some mods. I remember seeing a post where they confirmed the IP addresses. I've not been able to find it, so that's why I'm sitting at 99%. Yeah, I have to be quiet because we got Hugin asleep over there on the couch, and I'm trying to avoid taking him on a walkie in the severe heat. But if, I said it too loud. If he wakes up, I know I'm surely gonna, don't call me Shirley, I'm gonna have to take him. And Hugin doesn't do good on concrete in this kind of weather, so I'm focusing on keeping it chill, keeping it quiet. Okay, here. Now what I'm going to show you is 2 accounts. The first one is the one called CBK, and it was on the East Area Rapist Original Night Stalker Pro Boards. And I'm even going to put a link in here for you guys to go check this out. Okay, and I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen. So these are the pro boards that I'm talking about. They're still active to this day, but they were active a long time ago, long before he got caught. And they said, according to a lot of people, I agree with them, I'll admit it. A lot of people do believe that this is him. This is him. And it has to do with a lot of the things that he said on those boards. And he's a pretty weird guy under his alt account. Let's just say that. Simultaneously, there were multiple other accounts that seemed to link up according to moderators at the time. And again, they can see things that we don't. So I'm very curious to try and find the original post where they do confirm this. And they are hidden somewhere on the Wayback Machine. And I do intend on finding them and showing them to you. Now I'm going to take this one down and I'm going to make this big. So first, I'm going to show you one of the accounts because there were actually 3 or 4 that people believed were him. They all pretty much line up for the date of capture, no activity after, and a couple of things that they say in the accounts. And when the mods were able to say, hey, they're all coming from the same location on the same type of computer with the same IP, it was like, oh, so those are all the same person. And that's their sock puppet accounts, essentially. However, this was a long time ago. The boards get purged sometimes. Now, these are pretty much unpurgeable, except you could delete stuff back in the day if you canceled your account, or if you chose to individually, you could go through and delete it. Now, you can see one of these says deleted member, so it's not going to show up a lot of information. However, when people respond, they will often respond by typing in like Cleopatra. So if this person is responding to this person, you can usually read through and eventually find their name. Sometimes they delete the entire message. Sometimes the mod does. In those cases, that's when you have to rely on Wayback Machine. Now, I do believe they ended up deleting until after the trial, or just in case the person logged back in, they didn't want to clearly face any, any lawsuits. But these people have not returned. So because of that, catch and release is one of the biggest ones that would always get accused. And they also went by Trick and many other monikers. Now, Trick of the Trade and Catch and Release, they had started. Hold on, it's the mic is giving me problems today. Sorry. Here we go. So I don't like it when that happens. Okay. So, can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. So, people started getting a little bit curious around October 7th of 2018, which is crazy timing, saying that is the killer in these discussion boards? Do you think that they've been here? People start pontificating and they start accusing. And one of the reasons has to do with the lack of behavior after the fact. They all pose different theories as to why. Ghost Rider Jack Gray is another name that he was often accused of. Over here, Trick of the Trail is someone who would talk about specific things that seem like really sick fantasies. We're not going to click on the one about impregnating victims because this person would seemingly post theories. Do you think he impregnated? But he would get a little too into it. And then you find out later, perhaps, that a victim had to terminate a pregnancy because of it. And you realize some of the things he said lined up. Now, they're a bit graphic, so we're not going to go there. But I will tell you that a lot of the stuff this account said pretty much reflected Joseph James D'Angelo. And you can go into the pro boards and you can literally just type in either of these names, Catch and Release and Trick of the Trade, and you can see a lot of the stuff that they would post. And you can also see conversation after Joseph James D'Angelo was caught between users who are pontificating, are these them? And what's odd is they don't defend themselves. And mods do eventually jump in and discuss how this is definitely him. And then that's when people start getting a little freaked out, okay? Now I'm going to show you another one. All right. Let me pull this one up. Now, this is the one that everyone without a doubt agrees this is him. This is 100% him. This is without a doubt him. Now, I went and looked up the specific username, which I didn't do earlier. I showed you earlier the entire message board talking about it. Now, these are just this account. So this is CBK. Let's look at some of the things that he said. Where do you think Owens lives if he's still alive? His response, Rancho Cordova, just a few blocks from number 1. Twin. And then he puts twinless twin, which is a weird response. Talks about the 5-year gap. He moved out of state and back, got married, and started a family within that 5-year gap, which seems to be true. Sounds like something neurons would do. Be absent from school on picture day. Yes, a senior year in high school would be one time, which happened to also be true. Okay. And yes, that account did stop posting after he got arrested. I believe his birthday was very close to more than one of those dates. Also true. Like literally everything he's saying, there's maybe one or two that are slightly off. This one was interesting. There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true. When I say narrow geographic location, I'm speaking roughly 1,000 feet in any direction from a particular suburban intersection. The nature of what we know about the perp from the early attack is that he lived near a particular intersection. This was told to the victim by the two detectives who conducted the original investigation. Unfortunately, both detectives are now deceased and their notes are gone. However, using that narrow, as you can see, lots of detail. Knows a lot about the investigation. Other states and areas that he has murdered in. Florida. This part got me concerned. Now, this is one of the things people bring up in that, what about Florida? It's like, well, you have to have probable cause to run CODIS for specific states. And if he's in California, right, and you have to have kind of someone to look at him for in Florida, that makes sense. We have to know when he was in Florida ever. Like, that's something that I don't know that the investigators felt they needed to look into, and it's up to Florida, not California. Now, this is the one that bothers me because it makes me want to look into Florida for crimes that maybe he committed, but at the same time, he's in prison for life. Like, I don't know. I still think it's important, and that's why having a timeline for him, I think, is a very lucrative thing to get into. I think you can get a lot from it. And I think that beyond what the police have told us and what is available to FOIA, in fact, I know there are many timelines that people have spent years putting together for this dude. Like, it's pretty much complete when it comes to California. But as far as beyond that, there are a ton of them put out there online, and it would be nice to see one long, comprehensive one. I do wonder if Raoul's map can help with this. Do you think GSK is alive or dead? He says alive. And then it goes on and on. There's a few pages. How many? I think it's like 2. Let me go to the next one. I know there's more than 2. There has to be. Oh, it's on the other reports. Okay. Chances are someone here has the right Iran's person of interest. 100%. No doubt that someone here has the right POI. Now, people would reflect and say, oh, he's talking about himself. What is Iran's job? Select more than one RS. Now, I don't know what the fuck that means. I really don't. Regional supervisor? Assistant to the regional manager? I don't know. I never really explored what people thought on that one. So like I said, there's a couple that are weird. How old do you think the year was when he started? 20. I believe that might be the date because it was right after Bonnie dumped him, but some people believe that it was before, and she was not the catalyst, which I would never want to put that on her. But anyway, this part where it says one daughter, that is a lie. He had multiple daughters. However, people argue that he only liked one daughter and that he had basically disowned one or some shit. Now, I don't know what to think about that. This is Libra. Some people also think that's him trying to throw people off, by the way. Some of these, if he answers wrong, they say that. So, again, that's why I'll never say 100%. He also derails a lot into other places when they go into details about some things, but he picks schools and areas and just a lot of different. I don't want to go on that because that actually has some personal names on it. He goes into areas in regards to personal people and subject matter that is very relative to the actual Joseph James D'Angelo. So that is an account that I am very, very interested in. And I like to sometimes when I have free time, go back and kind of follow up on it and see if I can find anything on it because it fascinates me. Anyway, a lot of people believe that that was Joseph James D'Angelo. The next one we're going to do, ooh, I did want to show you this. I wanted to show you this in the last video, but I may as well show it to you now. I told you guys I would find you the Jasmine Richardson stuff and how I took some screenshots. So there's quite a few that are actually available online that are better than my screenshots that I was able to get. This is Jasmine's account for, I want to say, what's it called? Nixopia. This is what she looked like. She was a little girl she was 12. She would lie and say she was 15. Her and her boyfriend, who really I call her groomer, Jeremy Steinke, they killed her parents and her little brother in, I believe it's Medicine Hat, Canada. She used to go under the account Runaway Devil. She is out now. She did a Reddit AMA, people believe, that we talked about. And we read a little bit of last time, but I wanted to show you because also Nixopia is like super old and weird. It wasn't something that I know many people got into, but it was kind of an afterthought for me. Like I heard about it after it existed and was like, oh, okay, cool. Kind of like Zanga. I never had a Zanga, but I knew that it was a thing and that people did it. Here's another one of her accounts I wanted to show you. Yeah, it was like it's Canadian MySpace. And I had friends in Canada, but even then, like I just never heard people mention it. And then later on, when I went to Canada and made more friends in Canada, I found out that that's like, yeah, that's y'all's MySpace, y'all's Facebook, y'all's everything. It's kind of like WhatsApp. Like, it's weird to me that people use WhatsApp, but like, it's my dad's Polish and like my European family uses WhatsApp, but the other side of my family has no idea what the fuck that is. It's very funny. Okay, so this is another one of her profiles. This is the Storm of Sadness. She was very emo, very goth. Okay. It was under Runaway Devil. It was Medicine Hat, Canada, which is also still a wild name for a town, Medicine Hat. This is a profile from around February 2006. And as you can see, she opened it the year prior. And she's got very goth photos posing. And yeah, this shit's still preserved. And there's also a My Death space for victims where people posted a lot of this stuff. And it's just very interesting going back and looking. There are some active MySpace accounts, I believe, that are still on the Wayback Machine that still have the blinking and there's all the glittery fucking flowers and stuff. And that's kind of odd, but yeah, that's some of Jasmine's profiles. I'm hoping to still find the originals so we can just go to the page for Vampire Freaks. It seems like a couple of things did get taken offline. By the way, I wanted to confirm, and they absolutely did. So Melania's mail order bride post. It's still logged in the Wayback Machine, but it turned from blue to green, and I know it did because I have screenshots of the original where you could click on it and it was blue. Always get screenshots of something that you can open on the Wayback Machine before you click it to just be able to see when the government takes something down. What's odd is that there was some press conference at one point where someone asked about something to do with that or with controversy with Melania. And I believe the response was something like, we're working to have that taken down. And I believe it was something like a CPAC related thing. Anyway, I thought it was odd because when you go to the link now, which I have saved in a document, I go to it now. And it says that the page is broken, even on Wayback Machine. So it did get taken down. But there's a ton of screenshots still available. And you know that the page existed because you can still see it logged on the Wayback Machine. The content just isn't stored in the cache. So it's very fascinating. That means before his second presidential run, but after his first, like post Capitol storming, but before he became president a second time, he paid someone to have that taken down. Fucking wild. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. It's one of those when you catch the president dirty deleting. Damn. Okay. We're going to talk about Israel Keys next. I'm going to show you a little bit of crazy internet stuff for him. First, I'll put a link. So if you want to, if you have a computer, you're watching this on a computer instead of your phone, or if you want to fucking go away for a minute and come back, this is something that I recommend you click and save if you are interested in any and all things Israel Keys. And by that, I mean, especially if you're looking at, could this be a victim? If you are diving into a cold case and you're one of those people who's like, everything's Israel Keys, or you do genuinely worry about that, just like Samuel Little, just like Ted Bundy, like a lot of these dudes killed a lot of fucking people. So, this here, I'm going to take this down off the screen, but I'm going to make this big. I'm sorry if I'm breezing through it, but I'm just like, oh, there's so much to get to, and there's a ton of this. Now, as you can see, this is 34 pages long. What is this, Kat? What are we looking at? Oh my gosh. So this is from this little group of people called the FBI. Heard of them? This is the official timeline through the FBI FOIA files for anything and everything Israel Keys in chronological order. It starts with it's also evidence. It's everything they have. It's everything evidentiary, everything that they can confirm. Retail specialist services. Sandra, thank you for that. I want to write that down. Because I did not know what that meant. Thank you. Retail specialist services. Interesting. Okay. So anyway, as soon as they have any evidence related to them, they log it. Remember logs? They don't do that in canon, so we didn't have to talk about them a lot this past year. But yeah, they log it, and it gets put in as a query, an action, or a flight, because that's what it is. It's something he did. Did he go somewhere? Did he do something? What happened on this date? Did he fly? Not just flight, but like they mean like literally flight. Like, did he leave somewhere? And it can be any mode of transportation. And then the query field itself is just kind of something happened. What the fuck happened? Journal entry by Israel Keys. So in 1997, he wrote in his journal, and since it was entered into court evidence or part of his case, if you will, it got put in the case query as a journal entry from Israel Keys. So the first bit of evidence that you can put at a place and a time in a chronology goes at the top. So we're starting with him. His deep background check starts in November 21st, 1997. Israel Keys made a journal entry. All right, let's come up here. And the reason it's in here is because it's something concerning that could be considered evidence. Notes. So this is what he put in his journal. Israel Keys writes about a missing girl named Blank and hopes she'll wait a year or so for him. So a girl went missing. This was her name. He wrote in his journal, I hope that blank will wait a year for me. This is a personal journal entry of Israel, ERT, research, search of residence. So this is how they got it. So this is the log of how they got that evidence. They got his journal in a raid on 10/23 when they were searching the house in Alaska. Then there's another one. What's the date on this? So 4 days later in 1997, Israel Keys indicates no news about blank. And this is a girl who he writes, there's no news about this girl. And he writes her name, and she's someone who is missing. This is concerning because at this time, he lives in a place where he can easily get rid of a body or do something or kidnap someone. This is 1997. And he's writing about how there's no news about this person who he says he hopes she'll wait a year for him 4 days before. It tells you it's in his journal. Israel Keys said he received a letter from Blank. Keys thinks she's crazy. Any day now. Keys says and these are all journal entries. So you can scroll all the way down and you can see them. Keys says he still has not received a letter. Okay, Israel Keys tried to boost up his mood, refers to himself as is. So now they have another alias. So anytime there's an indication of an alias that goes into the notes, that's considered a query, an action, or a flight. So is one of his nicknames. Israel Keys said he had a better day today. They're tracking his moods, but also why? Because a better day to him is usually a murdery day. So this is kind of important. Is this the day that a missing person got murdered, or did he pick someone else up? Israel Key says he was dumb to think it would work out with blank, replaying the choice in his head to leave home and join the military, but decides that at least he ultimately tried blank. I thought to myself, in Ma Pen, what's wrong with you? Can't you give her up? No, I guess I couldn't. So it goes on and on. Now, right here, let's go over here. We're in 1998. Okay. And it says that he's in Albany. Actually, that first time it doesn't say the origin, but I do believe at that time he was maybe in, well, he went to Texas to Fort Hood. So I think that might have been Oregon or Washington. Okay. Not Washington, sorry. Oregon or possibly New York or Maine. Okay. So over here, we're in Albany, New York. All right. So this is 98. Fort Lewis, Washington. His military service, his keys were issued, processed out of Albany. So this is when he joins the army. And then they have the dates going on, and it's literally budget rent-a-car, U.S. So do you see? It's like everything he did, everywhere he went, Egypt, TDY. Then we have journal entries in between. Like, this is the ultimate chronology, okay, of Israel and his whereabouts and everything he did. So people will often go, well, was he here at this time? Was he here at this time? Well, you can just scroll and check. If you want to see where he was in 2012, Control F, type in 2012, and then go down. Go to wherever you see it. Anyway, this is a pretty crazy resource for him. It tells us a lot. It also tells us internet activity, things that he did online. When he Googled things, just like, we have a list of Rex's Google searches, we have all sorts of stuff that has to do with that with him. So I thought, let's take a look at one of the things he did, because they indicate in there that he wrote something in a newspaper. And I said, well, I would like to go see that. Let's see where he did that. So I'm going to show you. So if you go in the Wayback Machine and you type in ktva.com/home/outbound-xml-v, I'm just kidding. It is a long, I'll just put it up in case anybody wants to follow along or go back and revisit it. So you type this into the Wayback Machine, see if you can copy and paste it. I'm going to leave it in the chat. But this is something that he commented on. Now, he used a couple of different screen names, and they go through it in the documents, but also it's pretty easy to find when you look him up and just look at through various different search websites, people searches, and data mining fucking nightmares. Israel, he has quite a few of them, all right? So this one is about internet rumors and speculation cast Paul on Koenig acquaintance. So this is all about how Samantha once dated a guy, and that guy had a daughter with someone else, and they had issues, and because they had some domestics, and because he had done some drugs, everybody was pointing at him for Samantha Koenig's kidnap. Now, Israel Keys did that. He's the one who kidnapped her. He had her locked in his shed out back. And in response to this article about how this young man's life is being ruined, even though he tried to get back on track, he had finished his probation, he was taking care of his daughter, he was drug free finally, and now everybody's accusing him of doing this horrible thing to this girl that he used to date a long time ago. Israel decides he's going to go on the article online and leave a comment. And this is a real comment from Israel Keys, March 2nd of 2012. He posted this. Nothing surprises me anymore. For every action, there is a reaction, and playing with other people's emotions, male or female, is a very vile thing. Also, I have to say, people who portrayed an image or personality trait up front and isn't the type of person that they really are, you are only hurting yourselves. So he seems to be blaming the victim a bit. Very interesting. So yeah, that's Israel. That's Israel Keys. That's a real comment from him. And it's a little fascinating kind of look into what he would say if you read an article about something he did that someone else is being blamed for. It's very fascinating to me. All right. Let's take that down. And next, we're going to look at, hold on 1 second. I am going to, let me pull this up. I'm going to play you real quick. I don't know how long this is it's gonna let it go. Because I don't know how chill this documentary channel is. Hold on, let me pull myself up. Hello, everybody. But they are called, let me tell you about them real quick. Let me open who they are. It's called Top Notch Documentaries. It's a short. It's like 12 minutes. We're not gonna watch the whole thing. If they copyright claim us and make me take it out, then we're definitely not going to get to watch the whole thing. But I think it's fascinating because it does go through quite a bit of his internet search activity. And I went through and watched it, and it's got everything right. It ticks off all the boxes. So the way I look at it is, let's share who they are, and we'll show you a little bit of it, and then you can go watch the full episode over there if you like it, okay? Here, let me share the page. Wonder what Grant's doing. Okay. It's Top Notch Documentaries. I will. Okay, it's at Top Notch Documentaries. Okay, I'll put it in the chat. But here, check this out for a little bit. And this is, it's a nice compilation. It gives you the rundown, dude. Here we go.
You mentioned publicity, but that's not the way it started. Is that what you're saying? It may have changed to publicity.
Yeah, I definitely got carried away with the publicity aspect of it.
When do you think?
My entire goal up until the Courier thing was to stay under the radar and not have there be any. For a lot of the stuff that was before that, I couldn't even find stories on. There wasn't anything.
Really? You couldn't find anything on it?
Well,
was there a time?
Like a one-day thing, maybe, but certainly not something that went on for a year or months or whatever.
And the Couriers was big news from what it sounded like.
Well,
big news for that area.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, and I think that's when it started. Just kept checking back on the story and kind of getting a kick out of the different things that the investigators would say.
Knowing if they're right or wrong.
And then.
Or knowing that they're wrong. Like that?
Yeah, and seeing the difference, because obviously, I know what happened, seeing the difference from their perspective versus my perspective, and then on top of that, when people would read the news story, then everybody wants to comment on it, like their theories of what happened, and so I got really hooked on that too, because it was entertaining to me, I guess.
Did you join in any of those? Did you comment?
Yeah, I have.
On the Couriers?
Yeah, I think I did.
What was?
But I was still. I was pretty paranoid about the Couriers because that was like the first. That was the first thing I had done that was like really obvious. That it wasn't obvious what happened so much to the investigators, but it was obvious what didn't happen, kind of thing. And so they knew there was something they knew something bad happened, I guess.
But you had done a really good job, though, of distancing yourself.
Yeah, I didn't.
Even from reading the news articles, they were on one totally different track from, So you had done a really good job of distancing yourself. Were you worried that they were gonna connect it to you?
No, I just my thing was always not to have anything in case anything ever was connected to me.
Got it.
Which is why I didn't keep any of their. I took some of their jewelry and the gun and stuff, but I didn't. I didn't want to have any of that stuff. Certainly not on me, and nothing found anywhere with my fingerprints or anything on it. And I was concerned about the computer. I couldn't help myself though, because when I first started reading news stories about it, I was super careful. I would use my other computer, or I would do it from an airport or something. I would never use a personal computer that was connected to me. I would go to libraries to check on news stories and stuff. And but then like I said, I got kind of hooked on the publicity, and I would be at home late at night or whatever and be like, well, I wonder if there's any more news stories, like a couple glasses of whiskey, and be like, I'm gonna check on that, and then I do the searches and read and start commenting on stuff. And I knew that you know, I was getting stupid, I guess. So. But I was still planning ahead. I never had intention of ever being caught with anything.
When was the first time that publicity became an issue? You said the Couriers was big, but when was the first time that you got kind of a taste for that there was?
Well, it's always, I mean, I would always check on stuff that I had done, but
in the beginning, it was curiosity to see if they had any links.
yeah, or even if it was suspected of being a crime.
Were there times when people didn't even notice?
Yeah, well, I mean, just like that house in Texas, like if you're not connected to it and you don't even live in the area and there's no obvious reason for doing it, then a lot of times they don't even, or maybe they suspect it's a crime, but they would never guess that it's just some random thing that somebody did. I mean, if they're going to think it's a crime, they would look at probably whoever owns the property, or, you know.
They're not going to come to Alaska looking for you.
Right. So but I did. I started doing a lot of, in the last year, I started doing a lot of stuff on Kimberly's computer, the one that was at the house. And
okay, I'm going to pause it there. So Kimberly was his girlfriend at the time, who had no idea he was doing any of this shit. And I will say he was one of the most brazen, because he would comment on a lot of the articles and he would browse and he would, you know, he would check up years later if somebody else had been blamed, and he would share his opinion and he would save it. And, you know, to use her computer was really messy, and it also implicates her. And I can't help but think again about, you know, Asa and poor Victoria's fucking hair being on a body and how that must feel. It's got to be weird having, I mean, I believe his girlfriend was like a nurse and a good lady, and it's got to be weird knowing that there was the digital traces of this guy following up on his murders on your laptop. Like, I'd be fucking pissed. It's really wild. And he was very, very arrogant. Oh, he was the worst. Anyway, I will put a link below the video for the timeline if you want to see that. And that is the Israel Keys timeline that has every little damn thing that he ever said or did. Next, what I want to show you is I'm going to show you a couple of photos of one particular fella. If you don't remember Todd Kolip was a nutbag. He was a realtor from South Carolina who kept a young lady in a big I don't know what you would call it, a storage shed type of thing, that one of those big boxes, those storage boxes, like it's like a pod, like a moving pod type of thing, but you can use them to store stuff or garbage. You could use them to move, like all sorts of things. So he had one of those on his property where he chained up a woman named Kayla Brown after killing her boyfriend, Charlie Carver. And his thing was he would kidnap couples. Often he would claim that he would lure junkie couples and then, you know, kill them because, according to him, like, it's their fault for, you know, having an addiction or being here. He tried to do that with Kayla and Charlie, luring them in with a job, a shipping container. Thank you. That's what it's called. Saying that he had a job, essentially doing make-readies. And Kayla had actually done make-readies for him before. If you don't know what a make-ready is, it's when you, when someone moves out of an apartment or a house, it's somebody who makes it look nice again. They vacuum, they clean. If there's any holes in the wall, you tape and float them. You make it look like no one was ever there. So she was essentially a house cleaner. And he was a realtor, so he would hire her to come over and clean. And one time she brought her boyfriend, and his name was Charlie, and he got really pissed off. He claimed that they stole from him. In reality, Kayla explains that he shot Charlie, and pretty much right away, and that he took her and he chained her up and did horrific things to her over a good amount of time. But while he did that, he also logged into Charlie's Facebook and made very, very, very weird posts pretending to be Charlie. So I'm going to show you some of those. Charlie was reported as missing, as was Kayla, and they were a couple, but they were kind of a fairly new couple comparably to, to their previous relationships. So it was kind of odd that he would just disappear, and not tell family. So I'm going to show you some of these posts that were made under Charlie's account, and people started going, this doesn't sound like Charlie. He's missing. And now someone's posting as him on his Facebook, but this doesn't sound like him. Like, this isn't the way he speaks. This is not in any way reminiscent of his personality, and it's kind of concerning. Now, Charlie Carver went by Charlie David on his Facebook, and he regularly communicated with Kayla Brown and with various members of the community, his friends, his family, his parents. So when people start looking for him and all of a sudden he pops up saying a lot of weird shit, people were very concerned, and they alerted the police immediately. They're like, there's some weird shit going on here. This digital trail would lead to Todd's downfall, in addition to a few other things. And what's really interesting is when he got busted, eventually, first of all, Big Mama's boy, total asshole. Yeah, Clyde and Clem's Whiskey Business is the name of the theme song. Sorry. I will absolutely put a link to them below too. They're the ones who sing the opening song. Love them. They're great. Anyway, this led to pretty much his downfall, in addition to other things. He was a serial killer. When he was getting interrogated or interviewed, if you will, and also when they saved Kayla, she started spilling the beans, saying, like, while he was doing things to me, he would threaten me and he would tell me, like, yeah, I've killed multiple people. And she was panicked when she's saying it. She's like, and he killed this person, and he killed this person. And she's just screaming it at them. And they're like, oh my God. And she had just had a chain around her neck in this like terrifying little fucking storage container, shipping container. Yeah, he kidnapped a girl as a child and assaulted her, and then I believe kept her in his closet or under his bed, and he got, found guilty for that. And that was in Arizona. You're gonna see some about that actually in a minute. He was, what was he, like 15 or 16 at the time? So this guy was a real nutbag. They also believe that he might have committed 2 other murders in the South Carolina town that he was in, at an apartment complex. And that one I 100% believe he did. But that's going to have to be a deep dive because that's all rumor and innuendo. But here we go. Let me tell you. And this was in Spartanburg, by the way, South Carolina, which I did. It was very weird when I looked at Spartanburg and walked around on Google Maps. It was not what I expected. So a little about him. He did have a dysfunctional as fuck childhood. His parents divorced when he was young. He spent time with an abusive grandfather. He moved around a lot. He was very violent as a kid towards animals and other kids. He did go to a mental health institution, very reminiscent in some ways to Edmund Kemper. 14 was when he kidnapped and sexually assaulted a young lady and spent 14 years in prison. He was released in 2001. He was a registered sex offender, and he got 2 bachelor's degrees in computer science and business, and then became a very successful real estate broker. And he pretty much tried to hide his past because that was in another state. He moves to South Carolina, and this is when he rebuilds his image, if you will. And he did so well that he had multiple properties. And at one of those properties, which he eventually made his home property, is where he buried the couple that he killed before Kayla and Charlie. And also, he admitted to doing something that was called the Superbike Motorsports murder. The Superbike murder is where he shot 4 employees in under a minute at the Superbike Motorsports. I keep wanting to say motorboats. The Superbike Motorsports store, and this was in 2003. Okay, it was a cold case for about 10 years. No one knew who did it. It was 4 people. He did it in under a minute. He walks into the store. He's a big boy, like a big fat fuck. He walks in, he goes up to them. Now he'd been in the store before. He'd been there quite a bit, and he used to go in and he used to look, and I believe he even purchased a bike from them before, but he wanted a new one, and it was fancy and small. He's a big boy, and he walks in there and he gets on it, and he's like, I think I want this one. And they just start ripping on him, but it's from afar. This is according to him. They're ripping on him, and he decides they're making fun of me. And then he just leaves, gets his gun, comes back, and kills everybody in the store. I believe there was one person who might have survived, but like he was a guy that he had a potato face. You know what I mean? And also, I want to say maybe it was somebody who was there and then they left. And then they were there at the beginning when he first came by, and then when he came back, they were already gone. But as far as like the people who were in there got shot and killed. Now 4 is a lot of people. And then he leaves and he just doesn't say shit about it for a long time. And a decade goes by and no one knew it was him. They didn't even think he could have done it when he got busted for Kayla's kidnapping Charlie and the other couple. They didn't consider him at all. He just confessed it. He just blurted it out. And they were like, what? Like they had no idea that he had anything to do with it. And he just straight up just was like, and by the way, I did that. Like he was like bragging about it. So this is a sadistic son of a bitch. He did horrible things when he was younger. He moves here. He does horrible things here. He clearly killed like, I mean, it was 4, 5, 6, 7 people already. And they suspect him of quite a few more. And for being a computer science major, it was kind of weird that he chose to troll people using Charlie's accounts, but also his digital trail. It's immense. It's large. So we're going to take a look at some of the things that he did, okay? Let me show you first. This is Charlie's account, and this is him as Charlie. So he took Charlie's phone, he took Kayla's also, and he would log into their Facebook using their phone. And then he would post as them. Okay. So people are like, where are you, Charlie? What's going on? And he said, Kayla is with, or this was on Where Are You, Kayla? And he's in this missing post that some of her family made. Charlie, her boyfriend, responds as, Kayla's with her husband, Charlie, but clearly doesn't spell it right. Why can't she have any contact with us? And who is this? She doesn't want to. I don't believe that. I know Kayla. She's not going to just run away from everyone. You or her should at least let someone know she's alive. The people that need to know that we are okay, no. Now, here's the thing. He tried to make it look like Charlie took Kayla to get people to blame Charlie. But people knew this doesn't sound like Charlie, especially those who knew Charlie. So now I'm going to show you another one. There were some personal messages between people with Charlie to try to figure out, is this really him? Who the hell are you, Melissa? Just a friend who read the post is all. Well, I would keep my nose clean and out of it. And how do you know my hubby? Facebook. Have you ever met him? This is all him. This is all Todd. Just telling people off who are getting concerned about the post. So imagine you see a post and you go, that doesn't sound like the actual Charlie. If you go back and read his shit, he doesn't talk like this or spell like this. Does anyone else notice that? And then imagine if the serial killer using Charlie's account messages you and then says, who the hell are you? And just starts talking shit to you. That's what he would do. He would monitor and he would actively engage with people searching for the 2 victims. Okay, so here's another post. But you post they bought a house. They married and having a baby. You want the police or his family, so who gave you the right to be on his account? You should really learn how to spell whoever you are. I have every right to post whatever I want to post, and I know both Charlie and Kayla very well. Charlie and Kayla both live with me. So now once people start figuring out that he's not Charlie, and they're pointing out all the reasons why he wouldn't spell like this, he wouldn't act like this, all of a sudden Todd admits and says, oh, I'm not Charlie, but I am his new roommate, and they have moved in with me. Lived, past tense, you're a piece of shit. Karma's a bitch. You're not Charlie. You've hacked his account, sicko. And he did use past tense, and Charlie was already dead at this point. So, wow, right? The internet is a wild place. He also posted, sometimes late at night, I dig a hole in the backyard to keep the nosy neighbors guessing. The rest is very blurry. This is also something that was posted under Charlie's account, and you can just imagine what other sick shit. We're not going to go deep into that, but there was a lot of stuff that was very concerning that he posted as Charlie. Now, here is something that he posted as himself that I thought was pretty yikes. All right. So this is Todd Kolip himself, and he used a very old picture. He was about 200 pounds heavier and used an old picture. It was very deceiving. Here we go. Find yourself getting in trouble? Got too much time on your hands? Get a bag of cash. You just don't know what. Got a bag of cash you just don't know what to do with? Well, your problem can be solved. Buy some land. Any land. Just land. You won't have any time to misbehave no more. Too sore and tired for that shit. Yes, sir. And those nagging questions of what to buy next, well, forget that too. You'll find that land is like a boat, just more expensive, and you can't take it out on the weekends. Problem solved. What's interesting about this is that he posted this around the time he had been digging holes to put people in. That's a bit concerning to me. Okay, another thing he did. This man loved to make Amazon reviews. And he did Amazon reviews for the items, believe it or not, that he used to commit his crimes. Amazon reviews on things like the rope, the shovel, all sorts of stuff he used. He's a very gross guy. Really gross, disgusting guy. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these reviews. Because there is nothing wilder than that. I still can't believe some of these. They're kind of hard to see, so I'm going to try to make them big. All right. So, whoops. He goes under me, and this is October 9th, 2014. Works great on a Magpul 7.62 as pictured. Saves your hands. All right. Online purchases. He reviews the padlocks he used to chain her up with. He reviews a stun gun. He reviews gun shit. He reviews a shovel that looks all crazy. He reviews a chainsaw. He reviews a headlamp. It's very, very crazy. Now we're going to look at another thing. By the way, see the knife? Have net, which by the way, he spelled haven't, have net on Charlie's Facebook account. Haven't stabbed anyone yet, but I am keeping the dream alive. And when I do, it will be with a quality tool like this. Yep. He wrote that. Now we're going to look at probably one of the most concerning ones. And this is a picture of Kayla when she was found. Chained up. Now, as you can see, it's a totally different lock. Master padlock, but it is a master lock. Solid locks. I have 5 on a shipping container. Slow them down till they are too old to care. He did have them on the outside, though. The fact that he commented that he had 5 locks on a shipping container And he actually did have a shipping container. He was holding a girl in it, and then he went and he reviewed this shit. It's disturbing. It's really disturbing. This is what he looked like when he was put in orange finally. He reviewed a shovel keep in car when you have to hide the bodies. And you left, this is really hard to read. And you left something at home does not come with a slur, which would have been nice. So yeah, that's Todd Collett. And that's his digital online trail. And it was extensive. And he spoke through other people's social media accounts and through his own. And he literally reviewed the products that he used on his victims. Disgusting. However, I do think it is fascinating that this stuff is still available to see online. 2014 and before is when he did them. So disturbing. Now I'm going to show you something that I found. I found a couple of videos that I did not know existed. And I was like, oh my God, they came out with these. I had no idea someone put these on the internet. Or that this even happened. It's kind of fascinating the way that it works in some states. When property is taken or somebody's going to life in prison, they committed something, but they own a lot of shit. States vary in what they do with it, and some of them they will take them and auction them off and give them to something like a crime victims fund or a restitution fund. In some states, they put the money into, taxes, voting, fucking roads, stuff like that. And some of them, they destroy it. Like, there's all these different rules and laws with property and what happens in chattel and houses. And he was a real estate guy. He had a lot of property. He had a lot of shit. With that said, there's an inventory team that was tasked, and they are an auction team, and you'll see it on their shirts, to go through Todd Collett's Woodruff property. A lot of his shit ended up getting sold online, and they filmed the process briefly, and it's available on YouTube. And I'm like, that's kind of wild. This video is called Inventory Team Goes Through Todd Collett's Woodruff Property. Spartanburg Herald Journal documented this. Thank you to you guys. We're going to watch that because I just had no idea this existed. I think it's fascinating. I don't know. What do you think? I did find it weird that if you look around the garage, some of the items that he actually wrote on in Amazon, like he gave his reviews for, are in there being dug through by the auction team. So here you go.
For the receipt. This chain hoist, any of that can be sold. What I would, somebody's going to have to get it down themselves. I don't want to spend our time doing it. Gun cases, all of this, put it the way it is. If there's items in the gun case, pull them out, sell them separate. The ghillie suit, camouflage, all of that. If it can be broken apart, sold in different pieces, go ahead and do that. Weight set, of course, put it all together. Y'all know how to do it. Let's go upstairs right here. Absolutely. And I don't know. I was thinking that was epoxy or something like that. It's not a syringe. Right. Yeah, it's a syringe.
Oh, that's what I was thinking about. The battery.
This insulation. Go ahead and put it in there. How much is insulation? $20 a roll. Yeah. Put 3 lots together if you need to. Books, I'd make like we normally do. Put all of them together. I would make several stacks in this case. Alcohol, pour it out, throw it away. Shelves. Food stuff. Yeah. If you want to put it onto the shelf and do contents of the shelf, if people take it, they take it. If not, it goes. I'm not looking at that. Okay. All right, that's all I know. We've got until tomorrow afternoon to be done and give them a catalog. That'll be sold. That's original writing, I'm assuming. All of this. Now, in here, I was going to tell you.
Do you see how he says that's original writing? I'm assuming. Like he knows, oh, a serial killer wrote on that. It's gonna get a lot of money. Remember that weird fucking knife throwing magician in New York? Yeah. Him, a couple of other people who are big time serial killer memorabilia collectors, a guy named Amigo the Devil. They more than likely purchase some of this stuff up. I have no idea, can't confirm that, but there are people who actually specifically seek out auctions for stuff like this. And it just fascinates me. I've never seen an inventory for that stuff where the leader guy points and goes, that's gonna get us some money in a southern accent. This is just tripping me out. I want to go back a little.
We've got until tomorrow afternoon to be done and give them a catalog. That'll be sold. I mean, that's original writing, I'm assuming. All of this now in here, I was going to tell y'all, this is the solar power. These may come on. We may have to flip some switches on the breakers. These may come on. Otherwise, we may need to do some new new light bulbs. Yeah. That red switch on there turns off all the power. So before y'all leave, have to turn the master switch off downstairs, and I'll show you that, and then flip that red switch, and it turns off the power.
Is that going to sell?
Yeah, we can sell it. We can sell it, but they'll have to unhook it.
Put an animal in here.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's been a while. Looks like I opened these windows so it would cool it off. There's a fan in there, and these there's got to be a switch downstairs to turn these on. I just haven't found it. So,
would you rather start down here or up the food shed?
I would probably start here downstairs, and
items that belong to serial killer Todd Kohlhepp were auctioned last week, and now a few of those items are for sale again online. More than 550 items were sold at the auction. The proceeds will go toward the judgments of the family members of Kohlhepp's victims who have filed civil lawsuits against the serial killer. And now a gun case owned by Kohlhepp is for sale on eBay. The listing says that
So this is crazy. I actually was wondering where it went. I wanted to watch this one with you. I have not seen the second one yet. Holy shit. They just straight up put it on eBay, but I'm glad that they're getting money for the victims' families and the victims. Fucking, I hope they sold it for a lot. Hello, Kim McD. How are you? Yeah, this is wild. To see an eBay post of it is tripping me out right now.
550 items were sold at the auction. The proceeds will go toward the judgments of the family members of Kohlhepp's victims who have filed civil lawsuits against the serial killer. And now a gun case owned by Kohlhepp is for sale on eBay. The listing says that 2 sets of restraints and a mask were found inside. At last check, there were no bids, but there is a buy it now option for $200.
This part is weird. I mean, the 2 restraints. This was in South Carolina. This is serial killer Todd Kohlhepp. He would Amazon review online a lot of the tools that he used to commit murders. And is pretty freaking disturbing. He also would not really hack. He would just use the victims' phones to post under their Facebook account and pretend and try to lead people astray so that he could keep them longer or get away with it longer. And when they raided his properties, he had so many and there was so much shit. And they, I believe it was 2014 was when he was caught, right? I think it was. Yeah, because he was actively being sought after for Kayla and Charlie, and Kayla was still alive, so it was 2014. But for the months before, he was pretending to be the victims online. And yeah, he would also keep trophies from them. And when he was busted, he had quite a few properties. And they were raided. You're just hearing about this. So he kept a young lady in a storage container in his yard. And she survived, and she does interviews and stuff now. She's a sweet lady. She was a waitress who worked with her boyfriend, Charlie. And yeah, back then they started doing make readies together, which is just kind of cleaning apartments and houses, making them look like no one lived there to make some extra cash. And they got kidnapped while they were on a job for him. He brought them to a house, and then he ended up shooting Charlie and then putting her in a storage container. And the police ended up finally catching him due to quite a bit of digital evidence. And that digital evidence had to do with his carelessness and specifically him using a victim's phone and using it to pretend to be the victim, to lead people away. So when they catch him, he confessed to these motorbike murders that were very popular a decade before Unsolved Cold Case, like very not popular, but like widely known. Like, this is the talk of the town. Who did the motorbike? Like, somebody went in and killed 4 people in a motorbike shop and they never found the guy who did it. That's crazy, you know? And so a decade goes by, and when he's busted for them and another couple he killed, he just blurts out like, yeah, I did that too. Like, he's bragging. So when they raided his property, they took all of his shit and they sold it online on eBay and through an auction house to pay restitution to the victims and the families. But what's also really crazy is he reviewed a lot of these items at, like, literally was like, this is great for burying bodies. This is, you know, I got 5 of these padlocks on a storage container on a shipping container right now in my yard, and there's a woman in it. Like, he didn't say there was a woman in it, but he alluded to it on other posts. He said, like, this is for burying and digging bodies. This is for tying people up. Like, he's just a fucking nutbag. Very, very brazen. So this is the news talking about this eBay auction where they found these zip ties and this fucking mask and his gun shit that they were trying to sell.
2 sets of restraints and a mask were found inside. At last check, there were no bids, but there is a buy it now option for $250. Meanwhile, 2 more items are on sale for sale on supernot.com. It's a website that sells true crime memorabilia, including letters and drawings made by serial killers. The site is selling 2 signs from Cole Hep's real estate business. They're charging $250 and $275 for the signs. And an unusual side note to this Cole Hep story, rapper Eminem makes a reference to Kayla Brown in a song on his new album, Kamikaze. Brown is the woman who was held captive by Cole Hep for more than 2 months at his upstate home in 2016. She was found by rescuers chained inside a storage container on Cole Hep's property. In a new song titled The Ringer, Eminem says the line, "I'm off the chain like Kayla Brown." It seems like a shocking line to many people, but Brown herself seems unfazed. A spokesperson for Kayla Brown has responded by saying the reference, quoting now, was a clever line that rhymed, and we'd like to leave it at that. She goes on to say that Brown does not want to take offense and that the line may serve as a reminder to others of what took place when Brown was held captive.
Okay, so that's the Todd Collett part. Yep, that was Ariel Castro. He was fucking insane. He was in a salsa band, and he used to have his brothers and his family, his cousin, mi hermanos. Everybody came over to his house. He had kids. Like, they were living in that house while those girls were down there. It's fucking terrifying. It's another reason why I hate that. What's her name? Sandra Brown. What's her name? She's the fucking stupid psychic who also fucked with the Sean Hornbeck case, who also fucked with quite a few cases. And that was when she fucked with. She told the family that that poor girl was dead. And her mom stopped looking for her because of that. And then old psychic, whatever Brown, Sylvia Brown, is that her name? I refuse to remember it. She's such a bitch. She don't say this. Well, yeah, she's like, she's dead, sweetie. She's dead, sweetie. Yes, Sylvia, she's dead. Just forget it. Like, it was so cold, so rude. So, of course, when she's alive, that should be fucking more proof to you that shit's bullshit. But yeah, she did that to a lot of families. She's disgusting. I'm glad we don't have to hear from her anymore. I'll just say that. All the girls were friends of his daughters, and the cops were so incompetent they never suspected them. Yeah, and that's kind of how he lured them, right? He's like, I'm so and so's dad. Ugh, he was such a terrible person. One of them was walking to work, right? So disgusting. The lots of earrings all included at least 3 single earrings. I have lots of singles because I lose them, but I have a vivid, sometimes icky imagination. Oh shit. Okay, yeah. So now we're going to look at another kid who she stuck her fucking nose in and was wrong about. He's dead, sweetie. Literally said that. He's not dead. He was kidnapped and then he was rescued. Sean Hornbeck is a kid who and the reason we're going to talk about him in this is because it's a very interesting angle to the old internet digital footprints. This is going to be the one we wrap it up with, because this isn't actually a killer that's online during the time of their crimes bragging about it or posting about it like all the others that we've talked about. Literally all of them have done that so far. This is a kidnap victim who posted online while he was kidnapped and then was found. Now, I want to show you some footage of him. The problem is a lot of it's really bad background music and Oprah, and that's not good because it makes it very difficult to play without it getting immediately taken down. But what Sean did that's interesting, and he admitted this on Oprah and a couple of news networks, is so he gets kidnapped by this guy. It's very similar to the Stainer story, in that he was also used kind of as a lure, but he was with his kidnappers for so long in this apartment being hidden that he kind of got brainwashed. And they kind of but they put him in a position to where he had like a Stockholm syndrome type of thing. And it's just really sad because he was kept in this fucked up environment. Other kids they tried to kidnap another kid. It ended up with him finally getting rescued. But he also acted kind of, I don't know, a lot of people were like, oh, he's acting kind of weird about it. And a lot of people had a hard time understanding, well, why didn't you run away? Why didn't you go back to your family? Did he let you out sometimes? Like, well, look at you there. You look like you're having fun. And he caught a lot of flack. And what's odd is that there was this website. Let me pull it up for you. It was the Sean Hornbeck Foundation, and his family was looking the entire time for him. But for some reason, even though he could see that there was footage of it airing on TV and stuff, he felt really uncomfortable. He was deep in this mindset of brainwashing and Stockholm syndrome and fear, and just in this environment where he didn't feel like he could directly reach out, but he attempted to. And his kidnapper's last name was Devlin. And he used an account while he was kidnapped under the name Sean Devlin. So I'm going to read you a little article about it first. And then I'm going to show you some the page where he did this. But he essentially went online and asked his parents, his family, a question on the Sean Hornbeck Foundation website that they created to try and find him. So imagine you've been kidnapped, you've been with your captors for a very long time, years, and then all of a sudden, you see that there's this website, you see it on TV, they're talking about it, about how there's this foundation set up to find you and to help find other missing kids. And while in captivity, you go on that site, you create an account, and you post not once, but a few times. And you choose the last name of your captor. That's what he chose to do. Some people felt weird about it, but for him, that's a huge step because he was reaching out in a way. Unfortunately, so many people would catfish the parents and try to say disturbing things to them under false accounts that they saw that and they just thought it was they got so much shit from people pretending to be their missing son that they see it and they're just like, oh, just another crazy person. Like they didn't get the they didn't read in between the lines or notice anything different about it. So first on the cover of the website, This is how it opens up. I'll just show it to you, actually. Let me present the screen. So this is through the Wayback Machine. It's SeanHornbeck.com. Okay. Welcome to the Sean Hornbeck website. Sean is an 11-year-old boy from Richwoods, Missouri, who vanished while riding his bike on October 6th, 2002. And he has not been seen since. So he's 11 when he went missing. And this is kind of a key number. A lot of kids went missing at the age of 11, which is strange to me. Like a huge amount. And it's usually girls or anyone on a bike. Any 11-year-old on a bike. It's very strange. He's not been seen since. At this point, there's been no evidence found pointing to the whereabouts of Sean, but family and friends have committed themselves to continuing the search. Now, this page is from 2005. That's when this post was up. I believe it was the end of 2005, early 2006 when he ended up getting found. But this is before. Now, on that page, as you can see through the Wayback Machine, we can go through and we can see different stuff. Now we're looking at it December 31st, 2005. So December 10th, I believe, was when he posted the post. So I wanted to go back and find it. Now, the problem is they say it's the message board. When you go to the message board, you can see a lot of different posts and you can click on them. Was anything found on the search? That's from May 31st, 2004. To all at SHF. And then it's from all of us Happy Safe Memorial Weekend. And you can see who posted it. Metro K9 and Mounted Search and Rescue. And you can go through and see them all, but you don't see Sean's post. And I think the reason why is because when he posted it and then he was found, which would have been, he posted it around the 10th and he was found shortly after this. They likely went and took it down when they realized that it was him. It's a little hard to find buried in here, but I do believe that there is one post with it still up. But let me go home here. Let me read you a little bit about how this happened. So this is in Kirkwood, Missouri. While his alleged kidnapper was at work, teenagers shot. This is how he got out of captivity. And this is from December 10th. Or sorry, the web archive specifically date of this is December 2005. Kirkwood, Missouri. While his alleged kidnapper was at work, teenager Sean Hornbeck apparently had access to a computer, and he or someone pretending to be him may have put photos of Sean online and posted a chilling message on a site created by his desperate parents. How long are you planning to look for your son? A series of web postings under the name Sean Devlin. Devlin is the last name of the man suspected of kidnapping Sean and posing as his father, came to light after Sean's rescue from an apartment in Kirkwood last week. Now that sounds right, like the guy who kidnapped him saying, how long are you going to look for your son? Sean later admits it was him who posted that while his kidnapper was at work. How wild is that? So Sean was technically posing as the kidnapper, but under the name Sean Devlin, speaking from the point of view of the kidnapper to the parents on a message board forum, but that was his way of reaching out. It's very interesting. But like, good on him. Thank Christ he fucking did that. Investigators would not comment on the postings, and it was not immediately known if they were in fact created by Sean or someone trying to taunt his parents. Oops. Sorry. Oh. There we go. There we go. It's back. He did later admit on Oprah it was him. Either way, they had a long list of clues that no one seemed to pick up on during the 4.5 years that the boy was missing. They also deepened the mystery of why Sean apparently made no attempt to escape or notify authorities. Hey, news, way to victim shame. Sean, now 15, was 11 when he was kidnapped in 2002 while riding his bike near his rural home. Astonished police found him Friday in the suburban St. Louis apartment, where they also discovered 13-year-old Ben Ownby, who had been missing for 4 days. Their alleged abductor, Michael Devlin, a 41-year-old pizza shop employee who also held a job answering telephones at night at a funeral home, was jailed on $1 million bail. So far, he's charged only with the kidnapping of Ben, but authorities also plan to charge him with abducting Sean. Very weird how they did that, by the way. Investigators have given no motive for the crime and no details on what the boys went through. Officials said Devlin did not appear to have a criminal record, which is odd. Devlin's attorney, Michael Kilty, said he has not seen any evidence and will enter a not guilty plea at his arraignment later this week. During his captivity, Sean may have offered clues on the web that went overlooked. At 1:59 a.m. on December 1st, 2005, someone using the name Sean Devlin asked in a forum on the Sean Hornbeck Foundation website, "How long are you planning to look for your son?" Sean's parents, Craig and Pam Akers, started the foundation to help find their son and other missing youngsters. Later that same day, around 2:56 p.m., Sean Devlin wrote to ask if he could compose a poem for the family. The poem never appeared in future postings. It goes on and on to describe other profiles that Sean had created, and I just think that this is so fascinating. So with that said, there is quite a bit of information on the Sean Hornbeck page, and all you have to do is, I'm going to put this in the chat. All you have to do is go here and put it in the Wayback Machine, and you can scroll through and see some of the different posts and what was being said, and see if you can see any of Sean Devlin's alt accounts or his account typing as Sean. For some reason, it is buried, and I'm having a hard time finding it. But I thought this was an interesting perspective from the victim's point of view, and I want to show you a couple of videos where they talked to Sean about this. He did a public service announcement that was pretty fascinating for the Missing Kids Rescue Network. So let me show this to you, and then we're going to peace out, okay? Because I have to run some errands, and I have to take the monkeys on a walk. He is up, and he is pissed. I love you guys so much. Yeah, it is. This is just such a crazy case, dude. It's so wild, and I just feel bad for this kid. He went through so much, and a lot of people gave him some grief, and I don't like that. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and put let me open it for you. We're gonna end on this. Thank you guys again for coming today and watching this episode, and we will definitely look at some more crazy, wild, old internet digital trails in the future. But for now, this is a public service announcement from Sean Hornbeck and the Missing Kids Network, and I just think it's interesting. It's an interesting interview when you consider, everything that went down. If you want to go down a rabbit hole of some wild cases, I would definitely say look into any of these. And if you are very interested in figuring out, like, hey, I wonder if Israel Keys did this, instead of like speculating on comment sections or in various pages, just go look through that chart I told you about. And when you look through that chart, then you can see before you comment, and then you won't feel like a silly goose. All right. You're the best. I'm gonna go call Mama Towel. I'm just kidding. Oh my fucking god. All right, here.
A lot of attention on you and your family.
And you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let this play, and then when it's done, I'll put something silly on to lead us out. Nope, that's inappropriate. You know what? No sillies. We'll do silly. I'll try to come back later this evening. I just need to run some errands. Y'all are the best. We'll do sillies later. Let's end it on Sean. Okay. Here we go.
In the past couple of days, but you're not hesitant to speak out about it because this is a good thing. Why are you making yourself available to talk about your case and this case in Cleveland as well?
Well, I just feel like this is going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life, and I feel like that maybe it's part of my mission in my life to reach out there and be able to help keep the message out there and the awareness of the missing children and their families and how they need to keep the hope up and their strength. And that's why I've been willing to donate my whole day to keeping awareness and just getting the message out there today.
What was your first reaction when you heard about those 3 women in Cleveland found okay and reunited with their families?
My first reaction was joy immediately. A lot of people ask me, every time I hear somebody coming home, if it brings back the bad memories. It really doesn't. Actually, the first memory that I think of every time is the first time I see my parents. And just the overwhelmed happiness emotion that I got from that. And I just think to myself, I hope those girls felt that exact same feeling I did, because they will never forget it.
only a few people can relate to this situation. How do you not give up hope? How did you not give up hope? How did these girls not give up hope?
I just always knew my family was out there. I've always had a psychic connection, you could say, to my mom. We just always been linked to each other, and I could just feel her staying strong for me. So I knew if she's staying strong, then I have to. And you just can't give up hope. You just have to have the faith and just know that one day it will happen.
If those families in Cleveland reached out to you, would you talk back to them and relate to them and offer some advice?
Yeah, I would most definitely take the time to talk to them if they wanted. If they had any questions of how they could go on, move on with their life, I would be more than happy to talk to them. The offer is always out there.
From your experience, what's the first step for these girls? Obviously, they've been reunited with their families, but what's next?
The next part is just living day by day. Just stay strong. Don't rush anything. Let everything come natural and let it just happen with a normal flow. You can't push it.
And it's nice to have stories like this so we can highlight, as you mentioned, that there are definitely other children, other adults out there in this situation waiting to be found.
Yeah.
Bring attention to that. Tell everybody, what are you doing these days?
I work at a metal fabricating company. They mount flooring machine and weld, and that's what I do. I just have a standard life, 21-year-old, got my own car payment, insurance, phone bill, and just living life to how I should be.
Oh, all those adult things are so fun, aren't
Oh,
they?
yeah. Gotta love paying the bills.
If somebody came up to you to ask about if you'd ever see yourself now at this point, being with your mom and dad, leading a happy life, living day by day, would you say you thought you'd be here?
Yeah, I knew I would be here at one point. But like I said, that's just where you got to keep your head up and stay strong. Because when you start doubting yourself, is when you start tearing yourself up.
And you caught my attention when you said hearing stories like this of these three ladies in Cleveland being found. It actually made you happy and didn't bring back any terrible memories so much.
No, I mean, it brings back thoughts, but then I just have to remember that's in the past. That's behind me now. I want to look towards the future and how we can help everybody in the whole area can help each other. It's not even just the people that have been kidnapped or taken from their family. Just everybody can be out there and be strong and just help each other out. And that's just where I think about it, and that's why I get happy, is because I know that there's true miracles out there that will happen.
Is it a situation for you and for these girls? Was it something you think about every day?
I don't really think about it every day. Like, I think about how I hope everybody gets reconnected with a family that has been taken. But it's something that I don't let drag me down, and it's not a ball and chain on me of what happened to me. I live my life to how I should be living.
Well said. Of all the gazillion questions that have been thrown your way today, is there anything that somebody hasn't asked you? Is there anything else that you want to say that you want people to know about?
Just really keeping the awareness out there, paying attention to your surroundings. If you're a parent, knowing where your kids are, who they're with. I mean, if you're a kid and you're tired of your mom asking you where you're at every 5 minutes, you got to see it from her perspective. So that's pretty much my message out there. It's just the community's got to stay together and stay strong, and just watch your surroundings. Be aware.
I imagine holidays like the one coming up on Sunday, Mother's Day, are even more special for you now.
Oh yeah, I actually told Mom that I'm barbecuing.